This is 9 to Noon with John Kuhn.
You know, I hope they don't have to go to John Kuhn either at quarterback, but I'd sure like to see what he's capable of doing.
Bill Schmidt.
I think it's going to be extremely fun.
And Armin Sarya.
Oh, man, I don't know. I hope I can live up to the hype.
Nooners. Hit the guys up on the Pella WI Talk and Text line at 414-799-1973.
Unbelievably fantastic, man. I love to listen to your show.
9 to Noon is brought to you by Palermo's. When you want pizza, you want Palermo's. Made right here in Wisconsin for over 55 years. Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Welcome to 9 to Noon.
9 to Noon starts up Super Bowl week on your radio, on your iHeartRadio app, as well as on YouTube and X. What's going on? I'm Billy Schmidt. We start up the week with a lot. Armin Saryan, John Kuhn ready to go, and already the days will remind us of years past of champions being crowned this week, as another will happen, Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. A lot of conversation throughout the week about Chiefs and Niners. I'm already starting to dislike my Chiefs investment. That'll probably flip 3 or 4 different times throughout the week. I'm already wondering who the pressure actually is on. We'll get into that throughout the week, but guys, as we start on up here, and the first thing that I see on screen, other than John Kuhn and Armin Saryan on Twitter, X, as well as YouTube, 973thegame.com, or 973 The Game on YouTube is where you can find that. Guys, I see Mad Dog Russo with the Bellagio fountains behind him, a beautiful sun splash site, and it's all bull. That's not true. Because if he was right now thinking that they were going to have a beautiful scene of the Bellagio fountains at this exact moment, I don't know that they're getting one sun splashed like many media members are realizing as they headed on over for Super Bowl week this week. Tough doing a morning show if you're getting ready at Radio Row for that 3 a.m. wake up call and 4 a.m. fire up. It sounded a lot better, I think, for many people. And I'm just trying to make myself feel better because there was a long portion of that San Francisco 49ers divisional round game, John, where I thought this exact moment when I started talking on Monday of Super Bowl week, I just let myself get there, that we were all going to be sitting in the convention center of the Mandalay Bay, enjoying Radio Row, getting ready for the Green Bay Packers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And now I'm starting to get just a little bit disappointed again that we're not seeing the green and gold in the big game again this year.
Are you jealous,
Billy? You're damn right I'm jealous. You're damn right.
See, part of
all
me,
these cats getting themselves one more expense paid for. And again, hand raised in air. Extremely lucky this year. Extremely lucky. These are good champagne problems. Gratitude is really all I think about on days like today. We got a comp trip out to cover the Packers and Raiders. And then again, John, I started thinking and getting greedy, thinking we were going to get 2 in one season. That is double hand pay. That's a double jackpot winner at Circa that you're cashing on out there. And instead, these folks are all enjoying it, and we're not. I'm jealous as all heck that we're not on out there this week.
Yeah, it's in Vegas is, it's a pinnacle moment for the NFL to be in Sin City for a Super Bowl, the biggest game of the year. And shoot, if you remember, it was a short 5-6 years ago that the U.S. Supreme Court said, sports gambling is no longer illegal federally. Yeah. You got to determine this thing with your states. And that opened up the door for this to be even possible. And now you have the Super Bowl, the mecca of all games in the city, where it used to be a riot just to go to Vegas for the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And you were going to get into all kinds of
so much
fun and shenanigans that revolved around the game while not actually having anything to do with the game other than having odds and props and all the different things you can get into. The Super Bowl parties out there are outrageous and it's a fun time. And now it's there. And I'm wondering what that experience is like. What's it like when the teams land out there this afternoon and they make their way to some sort of establishment that is definitely not on the strip. It's as far away from the strip as it could possibly be as they try and navigate themselves through the first couple days of Super Bowl week. And I forget, is it media night now? It's not media day anymore.
Opening night, I believe, is how they sell here tonight. The 6:00 special, probably on NFL Network for about 2 hours as the teams walk into the stadium. Yep.
Chiefs at the Westin Lake, Las Vegas, and the Niners are at the Hilton
Hilton Lake. So
Oh,
they're
neither
both,
got Red Rock. Okay.
No, that's why I thought
they're
Red
both at a
Rock.
lake. They're
Yeah.
both at a lake.
I know they're both off the strip. That's what they like to do. It is funny though. You think about just a
Yeah,
few.
been to Vegas a lot. No lakes that I know of. And I haven't remembered pulling around the lake, so
Like
they're as
me?
far away as possible.
No,
Yeah.
but like it is funny that it used to be a dirty word for the NFL, Las Vegas. Now they're rushing as fast as they can to get there. They wanted to sit up in front of the fountains. It is, and I wonder how different it is. Billy, you're not as much different to me as you think. Just like you, it's like one part of your mind is always there in the desert. I kind of get
about
that.
it. Just thinking
And it's
about
like it is sort of sad that we could have been there. Like we could have made it out there. But
And I'm listening to these guys complain. Oh, we got to stay at the Luxor.
no, the Luxor.
It's only going to be 56 degrees out there. Let me get out the world's smallest violin and play you a couple of numbers as you get ready to go and interview a bunch of folks, hang out at the casino, get yourself a very, very nice all expenses page. And you know what the other part of this is? And this is what we're getting, we're missing out on here. It's the good bonding time. It's the good relationship building, right?
Totally.
Like this a good time to spend and learn.
Oh, we'd have had fun.
Oh, but by the way, Armin's going to
fun.
go do that with the other show next week. So that's fine. You go and enjoy it.
All right, I
We'll
guess.
continue to work and just push the paper, right? Continue to make as many dollars for everybody as possible.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
There's just a lot going into it. And John, you say it 5 or 6 years ago that the states were now able to really, it opened up sports gambling across the country. And I do believe by the end of probably 2030, you're looking at almost every state that has lottery, which I think there's a lot of 9 or 11 states that don't even play the lottery. You'll be able to, in some form or fashion, invest on pro sports and collegiate sports in all of those states within the next probably decade or so, as more and more figures keep coming out as to why it makes so much sense and it's so profitable. But Vegas itself, like 10 years ago, Tony Romo couldn't even go there for a fantasy football convention.
Right.
And then 2 years later, the NFL's like, this fantasy football thing, huh? People like that. We should do a show about it. We should have that. They should play fantasy football on the NFL's website, right? Like they should play it on the NFL's app. And as many times as they can find different ways to sink some teeth sink some pocketbook, find a way for it financially to incentivize the NFL. I'll tell you this, Las Vegas is going to be in the regular rotation for the Super Bowl.
Definitely, yeah.
It's going to be here probably once or twice a decade, right? Like, I mean, I think New Orleans is in that regular rotation. Miami's in that regular rotation. Phoenix,
LA, maybe
after last year's field situation, maybe doesn't, but LA is going to be in there, and there's going to nestle in Las Vegas because they had a record amount of requests from media trying to go cover this game. And John, there's a bunch of money there waiting to be soaked into, and the NFL is fired on up for it. And I'm fired up and just jealous as all heck that we're not milking that cow of financial fruits that the NFL is making out there in Sin City this weekend.
It'll be really interesting to see how when this is said and done, the critics of the Super Bowl, what was this week like out in Vegas, right? Because everybody says they love the Super Bowls in New Orleans. I still think the Rose Bowl should be a part of it. You should play outside, a little bit, right? In these things, you mentioned LA, Armin, that's another indoor, the Superdome's a hell of a place in New Orleans. That's indoor. Vegas is indoors. We should have at least an outdoor stadium in this regular rotation. I think it should be the Rose Bowl. Miami will definitely be in the rotation as they go about this thing. And, maybe it should be just a regular rotation of about 5 different cities or 5 different stadiums or venues that have this. I mean, do we need to have another one in Minnesota? I remember everybody complaining about how cold it was when that Super Bowl was in Minnesota. Granted, they played the game inside, but the week itself was cold. I think there was snow at the beginning of the week. So I wouldn't mind to hear what, the reviews come out here of Vegas, and if it is indeed one of the regular ones on that rotation.
Well, isn't it also the NFL wants to hold that carrot as like a gift for teams to build new stadiums? Like you can.
So they're trying to do to Chicago right now.
Same idea. You can have a Super Bowl there. We've heard the Rose Bowl's beautiful venue, John. In my opinion, I agree with you guys. About that, but they'll never do it again because it's not a modernized stadium enough. Or we hear that all the time. But nothing used to beat those images of the sun setting during the actual Rose Bowl game. San Gabriel Mountains, all that beauty. Nothing would beat that, but it's just not gonna probably.
It's
happen
gorgeous.
anymore.
The other one that's not going to happen, and I was the NFL Network was just soaking into the fact that people like myself and I imagine some of us and some of our listeners having football withdrawals yesterday. Woke up yesterday and I was like Nick Sirianni during the national anthem, just tears flowing from my face, realizing that there wasn't real tackle football to watch and invest on throughout the day. It was a hard moment to realize that we weren't going to enjoy that yesterday. So they were just running 30-minute recaps of every single Super Bowl.
Which I love.
San Diego was a gorgeous venue.
That was.
It's never going to happen again because, at least for right now, the NFL has put in the amendment in one of the last couple of CBAs or the last documents, whatever dealings with this of the Super Bowl, that you are not going to play one in a city that does not hold an NFL team. They've made that abundantly clear. Rose Bowl we could find a way to make that loophole to get that on in there. But the outdoor stadiums, John, to your point, are kind of going away. And I'll be a hypocrite on this because I think it should either be in 4 to 5 cities and we just cycle through that in a regular rotation, or it should be like the NBA All-Star game. And if you have a venue that is optimal enough, is good enough, and is, meeting the indoor criteria or whatever, they should send it to Minnesota once every 10 years. Chicago gets into there. You played in a Super Bowl that, celebration here today. I think it's 17 years ago today, 18 years ago today. Pittsburgh Steelers won Super Bowl 40. That one was in Detroit. I can't imagine there were a whole lot of media members that were fired up about going to Detroit in the early part of February. But they built a new stadium and they got one. They gave the carrot to New York just because, hey, you build a beautiful new stadium, we're going to give you a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Then, you can't have, I like it to be either we're sending it around or we're keeping it in just these 4 spots. Either way, man, Vegas is going to be a great spot for it. They leaked on out yesterday because it's the retractable field, so it pulls on out so the grass can get some good sunlight. John had a good field report on that surface. Weird one, right? A little sandy, from what I remember.
I remember that, John.
You could stomp on the field and hear it echoing underneath the grass, like you were on a basketball court. It was wild. It was really interesting. And I forget what the write-up was. I could go through my notes and find out what the field was made out of, but it was
you had the strain. I remember that.
Yeah,
it was like
half Bermuda, a third Kentucky bluegrass. I mean, it had a whole. I mean, it was about those strains, Billy.
You got to have a lot of strains.
Hybrids.
Yeah, and they got a lot of strains out there in Vegas. They got a lot of them that you can dabble with. But they pulled that grass on out, and they had the Super Bowl emblems in. The end zones are already getting painted on in for the game, and the pageantry of this week is special. And man, I'm just starting to tap into it. Like I said, I've been all Chiefs so far this, 8 days so far here, John. I don't like the fact that I'm already starting to waffle. I know that I'm going to waffle throughout the week, and the Chiefs are already getting a little bit more at Potawatomi on the money line. I think I got it at 105. I believe last I checked, they were at 109 plus 109. Little value. I'm just not liking it as much as my Chiefs.
I think just we did this last week, but you look at the defenses, pretty comparable right there, I would say. So you look at the offenses and you would say, well, one has Patrick Mahomes and the other has Deebo, Kittle, McCaffrey, Ayuk. Like, can Brock Purdy match Mahomes because of the cards that he has in his hand? And can Mahomes make magic happen with the cards that he has in his hands? I mean, obviously he still has Travis Kelce, he has Isaiah Pacheco, and he has Rashee Rice. But I mean, are those three, do you put them with the other 4 that I just named from San Francisco? No. So I think that's where the slight edge is in this one. The complementary pieces on offense for the 49ers lift them just a hair over top of what Patrick Mahomes and his cast have. And yet, I'm still not going to go against Patrick. I can't.
It's hard
do
to.
it.
Yeah.
In these big games, he finds a way to not blow it. Yeah, more times than not. He has 3 losses, 1 to Joe Burrow, where he did play poorly in the second half, and then 2 to Tom Brady. And you start to question, well, is that just Brady being Brady? I mean, now that Brady's out of the NFL, it doesn't feel like Patrick Mahomes is Brady. He's the one that will get the benefit of the doubt on some calls. He's the one who will make the plays and throw it away at the last minute so that it's not a 12-yard sack, but instead, a first down on 3rd and 4. He's the one that has all that magic like Brady did, and teams find a way to lose it against them. And that's why, you just can't, at this point in time, to play 3 games in the playoffs. Now, they weren't a wild card team, but they did play in a wild card round.
Mm-hmm.
To play 3 games in a row and really have command and control in all 3 of them, that's when you are clicking as a team playing complementary football.
Yeah, and that's where maybe the bye week, Armin, doesn't hurt you or
No.
helps you to be playing, because they were getting some of their best rhythm. We've completely eliminated what that wild card game was because it was terrible temperatures. They went up against one of the best offenses in football in the Miami Dolphins and held them to 7 points? 9 points?
Absolutely. They really dominated that. When you think about it, it's been the defense a lot of times. that's
Locked
been
up
doing it. We think
Buffalo in the
about
second
offense.
half.
Didn't score in the second half against Baltimore.
Mm-mm.
Didn't need to. It's pretty amazing. You mentioned the money line really quick. It is plus 107 for the Chiefs at Potawatomi, and then minus 129 for the Niners if you want the money line there.
I like the early responses we're getting on the talking text line here. That Matt in Wausau goes, boy, Billy, I'm just the opposite this year. We always get 1 or 2 of these, and I wonder how many we'll get. I cannot get interested in the Super Bowl this year at all. I don't think I'm even going to watch it. I don't want to see Taylor Swift every time the Chiefs get a first down, and I want both teams to lose. That's from Matt in Wausau.
44 seconds, Billy. 44 seconds was the total screen time Taylor Swift had in the AFC Championship game. 44 seconds. Now I'm hitting the over on that. I'm slamming the over on that in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Slam it.
But a minute and a half, we can't do a minute and a half of Taylor Swift to watch the Super Bowl. We can't do it.
I saw more.
I think I can handle it. It's not going to bother me at all.
No, I'm going to be very into it, but I also saw more of her during other people's speeches, I think, last night during the Grammys. And yeah, I watched the Grammys last night. That's how freaking how many withdrawals I had of football. I soaked up every bit of the Pro Bowl that I could. Mea culpa coming from Armin Sarian here.
Yeah, a little
Give
bit.
me the Pro Bowl games over the Grammys any day.
They didn't really
At
overlap.
the worst time. I was just like, what else are we going to watch? I'd really like to watch the Grammys.
I did
Would
too,
ya?
I'll admit, but that's
I guess.
that's only because I had bets out.
Well, yeah,
on it.
that's because you're the one that was texting us at 3:00 to remind us because you bet on it.
By the way, that's the last time, and maybe we'll get into it more at 11. That's the last time I bet on something I don't know anything about. All right, it's the last time I bet in a freaking award show. I mean, really, I felt like a clown.
What
after
all
that.
did you have?
Yeah.
What all did you have?
I had Taylor minus 150 to win Song of the Year. Didn't win it. Apparently, I should have known that because she never wins Song of the Year. She wins something else like Record of the Year or Pop Album of the Year.
Won her 13th Grammy last
13th.
night.
I didn't take
You
that
might have
one
heard that's her lucky number.
because she was minus 400 at Potawatomi. So I'm like, I'm not taking that. There's no
No.
value there. I can't sustain a beat like that if she doesn't
You as
win it.
you love
You
the
would
minus 375 favorites too.
I should have parlayed that with a couple of college basketball, way teased down overs. That would have been a smarter play, but
If I had $1 for
Clown
every
move.
single time I said, yeah, I am never betting on that again, I probably wouldn't have to bet because I'd have enough money in my pocket to be able to do a lot bigger
I felt
and
like a
better
clown.
investments
That-
throughout.
then I took a couple long shots, which I should. I've already known they were not going to win anyway. I don't know. I just last time I look
Long
up
shots
Rolling
at the
Stone,
Grammys. what's a real long shot at the Grammys?
The long shots were in the best new artist category, which is I guess always a toss up. Rolling Stone said it was going to be somebody. But some other music art thing said it's going to be somebody. So I'm like, what, plus 1,600? Yeah, I'm taking that. Feeling good. Think I'm
Who'd
going to
you
hit a big Coco Jones and Gracie Abrams. Both at plus 1,600.
From what
Well,
song?
I have no idea any of them. They're all new artists. I have no idea who these people are.
I mean,
Exactly. How do I bet on it knowing nothing about it?
I'd like
That's
to
my
hear.
fault.
I'd like to hear one of these songs that you gambled on, Armin.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find those. We're gonna have to dig those on up here.
Called Armin's a clown.
Casey and JoJo, you said, right? Yeah, I'm sure you can find it.
Gracie Abrams and Coco Jones or something. I don't know. I
Not
lost.
Stacey Abrams. Okay.
Not Stacey Abrams.
No, okay. I just make sure that I heard that right. All right, 414-799-1973. Already, folks weighing in on Matt in Wausau's declaration that he's not watching the Super Bowl. Wonder how many more of those we'll get throughout the week. And we'll bring you some more of your reaction coming up here on the other side. Did you react to the Pro Bowl like Armin Sarian did and send to Mea culpa? Man, the Mannings just continue to take over the NFL. And no one complains about them with, more than 44 seconds of screen time when they're not playing. We'll discuss that all throughout the first hour of the program. We got some head coaching hire conversation, and mentioned the Grammys last night. There was an arrest there. There was an arrest at a Matt Rife show that's got some video and some great tiebacks in. She was not on the phone. Most guys are saying, wow, I was hoping Lisa Ann would be on the phone. That in 30 minutes. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali.
Is this thing on? Word. So what, we get drunk. So what, we don't sleep. We're just having fun. We don't care who sees.
Now, I would have voted for this for Song of the Year, like 15 straight years.
There you go.
This wasn't up for a Grammy last night. That's why I thought we were rolling through here. That's why, and all of a sudden, Snoop and Wiz pop up, and okay, not going to argue with that logic here on 9 to noon. Some people arguing with the logic on Super Bowl 58. Ken in the Falls, Billy. The Niners are going to throttle the Chiefs. Once the Niners get the lead, Shanahan will not make the mistakes of Super Bowl past when he blew the lead. This will be as boring to watch as when the Niners beat the brakes off the Chargers, 41-13 Niners. That's from your boy Ken in the Falls. That also comes right off the heels where more and more folks are already saying, dude, I don't know how on earth. Stay strong, Billy. You don't want a little Rice to run. You got Rashid Rice. He is winning this thing. I love how different it is for many people are on both sides. John Kuhn, Armin Sari, and Billy Schmid. Where are you leaning right now? Because we're 6 days away from the Super Bowl. And this all started because one individual was leaning towards, I'm not watching it. Brewfinity Frank. I'm in with Matt. Zero interest in the Super Bowl this year. I don't know how that fires up, John. I don't know how you like the NFL and you have a team going for the first time in 20 years to try to go back-to-back in a Super Bowl. For the first time since Brady did in his first dynasty that they ran through. I don't know how you have no interest in it. I can get you don't like both teams. I can get you don't like Pat Mahomes, you don't like Brock Purdy, whatever. No interest. That I can't get on board with. That I cannot understand.
Well, I've been salty too. I've been salty a lot in my life about who's in the Super Bowl. And, it's just what last year, I didn't really want either of the teams to win. This year, I don't really want either of the teams to win just based off of, preferences. But that doesn't mean I can't tune in. I have to tune in. And my question for the Super Bowl is not just, am I going to watch the game? Of course I'm going to watch the game. I have to watch the game. It's the Super Bowl with everything that goes with it. The pressure-packed plays on every single drive. Everything hinges on a catch or a fumble or a run, maybe even just a first down. So, yeah, my question is, when do you start watching it? Like, how much of the 5-hour lead-up, build-up do you watch into this thing? Because I'll have it on, and I'll have a spread out. And I'll have people and I'll be talking, but when do I start getting locked in? Like I'm telling you, I'm locked in for the national anthem. I am locked in for the national anthem.
What happens first? Coin toss or national anthem? Because that's when it starts. That's when the game starts, because that's when the betting starts, right? Like once we have a stopwatch out for the first note of the national anthem, we're in. Right? Like you are locked in. We're sitting through and we're enjoying. Now you say you're hosting, John? Is that what I heard? You're hosting Sunday's event?
Oh yeah. Well, 50-50 right now, but okay. I'll either be attending or I'll be hosting. Oh yeah.
Because if you're hosting, and this is different, I think, for all different individuals on I got my spot. Now, all due respect, I appreciate everybody coming on over here and enjoying the event, right? I appreciate that but I'm going to be in one specific area. It's going to be one place that I can kick the feet up if I'm feeling really good about the investment, feeling really bad. I can rock a little bit. I'm going to get one chair. And I do think that you deserve the right to, as the host,
call your chair,
call your spot.
Yeah.
You get to call your shot. And this is, hey,
so
that's John's chair.
It's
probably
funny
not going to want to sit in
It's funny you mention it, because when I go to Super Bowl parties and let's say there's 10 people there, you're going to get a good spot. I don't stress. But if I walk in and it's like 20, 25, maybe 30. I mean, I've been to big Super Bowl parties.
Sure.
Before.
TV's on in the kitchen by the food, just so 50, you can kind of graze.
Yeah. I've been to parties with 50, 60 people at it. You got some people shooting dice over here. You got some people playing, Texas Hold'em over here.
Kids are in the basement running around. You got
the big block boards, maybe 2 or 3 of them getting set up. People are signing up for block boards. And when I see that many people, there's a 5-hour pregame show. I'm going to grab a seat for the 5-hour pregame show because I'm going to mark my territory. I'm going to do everything except for take a pee where I am sitting to mark my territory. It is going to be well defined early and throughout the game. And even if I have to go to the bathroom, I'm standing up and making sure I'm calling fives on it. Whatever game you play at the house, I'm going to stack 4 pillows on my seat.
Putting your plate up there, your little hors d'oeuvres right on it.
This is my spot.
Yeah, put plates under, cans, anything it is, bottles, knowing, this is my area. That's why I left all my garbage here. I know what you mean.
Give the little gentle nudge to the guy next to you on the couch. Hey,
watch this for me.
Okay, sweet. You know
because
that he's kind of scooching over a little bit, grabbing a couple more.
Because the truth is, the Super Bowl is different for everybody, right? You got the people that want to see every single play. That's me.
Sure, you're
but
watching football. Yeah.
But at the Super Bowl, there's not a lot of people that want to see every single play. They're just there to see what the scores are at the end of the quarters, right? Because that impacts their blocks. And then you got the people that are really just there for the halftime show and the commercials. They actually walk out when the football gets played, stand in the kitchen and jibber jabber, and then come back in to watch the commercials in between, the game time. There's people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's people that really are just there for a party because this is like, a holiday. This is like a national holiday. So why not just have a party on a Sunday and really kick it and have a good time with people? So everybody enjoys it differently. And I feel like if I'm going to sit there, I'm going to watch every play and I'm going to focus on every play, then I need the best seat. I need the best seat in the house. And I'm going to claim that thing as early as it takes to get that best seat.
And I think you got to make sure you have people around you that know football, that watch it as much as you, that are going to be good to talk to during the game. Because if you get yourself in a situation,
I could give a rip who I talk to. I'll talk to anybody.
For me,
Armin, you'll talk to anybody.
No,
don't tell me.
Who are you talking about?
Don't tell me. You're going to decide where you sit based off of who's sitting in that area?
Yes, because let me explain what I'm trying to.
Not a chance. You're going to talk to them.
I will talk to anybody. I agree, but I'm making the point that it's more enjoyable if the conversation I'm having during the game is about the game with someone that watches football regularly and knows it, not from, and I love you, Mom, like, why does he run that way, or how many yards, or what team is this? Those type of questions that you get from all the football neophytes that don't watch football, that are there for the Super Bowl party. For what, John? For the party. This is the one time they watch, and they have a bunch of questions that are sort of rudimentary that you're like kind of getting annoyed with, like, okay, like this is like obvious. Why is he trying to score? Why is he kneeling? What does this mean? It makes it a little less enjoyable when you get inundated with these questions that I'm sure, sports guys answering all day long. Sports guys, that's our burden, and we take that on. But it is nice to have someone that when you see something happen, like, well, what a crackback block, or what a play there, and you can look at and someone that knows, and then you can. So
are you saying you have to sit up when you're sitting at a television, when you're sitting in the living room? You got to sit up. You got to find the person that knows more than you, so you can sit and you can soak off of them, so you can be rudimentary to them, so you can pull all their knowledge in and see what they're saying, just so that you can have a good time. What if everybody did that?
Want to be? You have a good point, and so I have to be mindful of that. Everyone's just trying to
learn
at
the game. Party. So what you're saying is, at a party,
it's the same thing with people watching this year for the Swift thing, right?
So what you're saying is, at a party,
yes,
and there's a 10-person seating area, kind of like in a U. Starting on the right side, you got to have the most football knowledge, and the left side is the least football knowledge, and you got to sit in ranking order the whole way around that U, so that everybody has one person that knows more and one person that knows less. Is that how it has to be?
It would be ideal if it was. Then you would have the most similar type of football knowledge person around you.
Do you just want a bunch of groupthink though throughout the game?
Fair, that's a good question too.
Do you want to be challenging yourself?
Trying to challenge and edge. Well, some of these questions aren't about challenging your thought process. It's like, why is it 10 yards? I don't know. I think, why is this guy going out of bounds? If the party's big enough, there's usually a couple areas where people are watching.
Sure.
It's not always one big TV room. It's always a couple of areas. Maybe there's a second TV. You talked about,
there's always
kitchen.
A TV on in the kitchen. But it's always a smaller TV. It's probably going to be max 20 inches that you're watching this game on. And I'm going to need bigger than that.
Doesn't it affect your enjoyment a little bit if you're watching the game and there's, you watch enough, you know what's going on.
What you explained,
you're getting distracted by these questions that are like, come on, people. This is your first time watching.
See, what you explained is a situation, John, that I would run into year in and year out. Now, hand raised in air. Family friend of ours would have a Badger bowl party every single year.
Okay.
Now, as much as I want to see the team in red win, Like it's not going to break. It was never going to break my year, depending on if they won the Capital One Bowl or not. Right. So I would do what Armin is explaining he would not want to do. And I would always sign up to go and sit right next to my Aunt Wendy. Love her to one of the sweetest human beings of all time. We would talk throughout most of the game. Right. Like she'd, we'd be catching up on how school's going.
That's exactly
how's everyone else doing.
And other stuff.
Wait, Billy, why are they yelling? What happened? Explain a little bit of that to it. But then come by, late third quarter into the fourth, I'd go on into the kitchen where the guys that had money on the game were, and by the food, because then everyone had picked on through. So then you could finish up as many little pigs in a blanket as possible, grab all the leftover meatballs, little taco dip, and hang out with the guys that were invested on the game for the final quarter.
I actually think the best place to sit is beside two people that don't sit very long. They're constantly up and moving around. So then every time they get up, you just say, "Hey, you going to the kitchen?
There you
grab
go.
me another."
That's good too.
Oh, you're going over there to the buffet table. Can you grab me some chips and some of that dip? Yeah, cool. I'll be right here.
I'm always that guy. I'm always that guy getting up. I can't sit still. I'm always that guy. So I don't mind helping and getting you dessert.
You're not?
I don't mind being that guy.
You're in on it. You're still going to help on out. Maybe I will sit next to Armin.
I'm that type of guy.
Even though he's going to ask all these rudimentary questions.
Yeah. I get it. See that? Now that's funny. From you guys are probably thinking, "Oh, Armin." No, but there's a level of you're watching a football where it's like, if something happens on the screen and you see it and you watch it, you're watching the play. I'm like, wow, how about that? You want to talk about the game. You want to talk about
football.
football.
Want to explain a false start.
I don't. It's not that I'm I feel I'm not trying to not help, but it's like, how bored do you think the guys at the casino that teaches every morning the craps class,
Armin,
and they ask a million questions about the craps?
One person you don't want to sit next to at a Super Bowl watch party.
Yeah,
Steve Zabin. He talks the whole time. The entire stinking time. He talks the whole time. It's like, damn, Zabe, I don't know, because I couldn't hear what they said because you were in one ear. You were the producer in my left ear while I was trying to listen to my co-host. What?
You're right.
I don't know.
You're right. And he watches obviously a lot of football, but he's always thinking about how the next segment. Like he always thinks of it as like, how is this a radio topic? I'm like, I get it, Zabe. You know how to do this well. Even last year at Sunburn Bowl, we're watching the MJ show. The guy's doing the Michael Jackson dancing. It's a free show. It's the entertainment, the resort show.
Yeah.
Zabin pops in next to me and goes, "What do you think this guy would make in New York if he was working?" I'm like, "I don't know, Zabe. Yeah. I'm just trying to watch the show."
414-799-1973. One person at the station you want to sit beside, one person at the station you want to sit the furthest away from for the Super Bowl.
That's a great Mike Heller question.
For the Super, I'm going to take it before he takes it because he's thinking about it right now as we're talking. One person at the station you have to sit beside, and one person at the station you cannot sit anywhere near.
414-799-1973. We need those answers. And I think there's going to be a common denominator in one of those brackets. KB's not going to be on anyone's list. Drew Olson might not be on anyone's list because my man even going to care about the game.
People might like that though. The KB.
That's true. That might be exactly what you want.
Like drinking vibe and just funny comment vibe.
414-799-1973. Those answers. Which head coaching hire you like the most, and why was Lisa Ann being brought out in handcuffs last night? It's all next on the game.
Girls is on the way with a Bacardi, yeah. Models and models talking all of that. No, I can't forget about my love. Where the party at? And all my girls. Where the party at?
That is one of my favorite Joe Buck calls of all time. Hearing the exuberance in his voice, and let's be honest, a little bit more of the disbelief. Like, what did I just watch for the last hour and a half after I threw it down at 21-3 for halftime? It was 28-3 in the middle of the third quarter. The Patriots win the Super Bowl. That exuberance, rarely do you get in some of the Hall of Fame broadcasters. That one right there,
7 years ago today,
absolute
guys.
money.
7 years ago today, Falcons blew their 28-3 lead.
Yeah.
You want to talk about all-time, gut punch moments for a fan base. And, we talk about Packer fans, of course, we talk about 2014 Seattle. It's hard to match up anything with a 25-point second-half lead in the Super Bowl for a franchise that hadn't won any Super Bowl, right? I'm not missing one anywhere, am I? Falcons never had that moment. That's like I think that's pretty comparable if you have a team like if you had the Brewers, Game 7, and you blow like a 5-run lead in the 8th inning, something like that. That's
close.
That's that type of comparison of a game you have won that you blow, that you've never had that moment.
Like the Chicago Cubs blowing a 6-run lead in the 8th as they had a chance to clinch their trip to the World Series, and then the Bartman situation happens. Like that's as comparable as it is. Now, similarly too, Falcons could have completely reset if they would have gotten the ball back in overtime and won the game. Now, Cubs had a chance to go win it the next night, right? Like there is some incredible agony that comes from these losses that we touched on it a little bit last week, John, that sometimes for organizations, it takes wholesale changes for anyone to be able to really rebound from it, right? Like Falcons are now on their second coaching staff post Dan Quinn, who lost that Super Bowl. I think of the one a year prior to, obviously we were all still heartbroken from what happened 2 weeks prior in Seattle, but the Seattle Seahawks, their lure and their bravado still had never been the same after they were on the 2-yard line and decided to not hand it to Marshawn Lynch and got Malcolm Butler at the goal line, and they never got back. Like, we think about it, you're going to be back. The George Kittle video of him as a 49er after blowing the 10-point lead to the Chiefs in 54, I'm going to be back. I will be back. Well, Dan Campbell said it a couple weeks ago. You don't always know if you're going to be back, but here they are. Here are the 49ers right back here 5 years later.
And that's why I call Patrick Mahomes the new Tom Brady. Look at what happened in those games, right? You talk about Seattle. That was Malcolm Butler. And even after that game, Tom Brady said Malcolm Butler should be the MVP. He can have the Cadillac that's given to me as the MVP. He can just keep that car. They were on the 1-yard line. And teams find a way. They would find a way in those crunch time moments to lose the game. I can remember Bill Belichick not calling a timeout down there. And I was saying, why are you not saving time? You need to save time. You should call a timeout. Didn't call a timeout. Interception. Boom. All of a sudden, game over. That Atlanta game, and I've said this a couple times. I honestly, the Atlanta Patriots Super Bowl 28-3 was one of the hardest Super Bowls ever for me to watch because it was, and you could say it was great football in the first half by the Atlanta Falcons, but it was some bad football by the Patriots early in that football game, especially defensively. And that's Bill Belichick's bread and butter. And then the second half of that was such pathetic clock management and execution and play calling by the Atlanta Falcons that there was a point in time in that game where there was a blitz off an edge and you got Devontae Freeman blocking, I can't remember the middle linebacker now. You would know it, 54, Billy, for the Patriots.
Oh, Hightower,
Dante Hightower. And what are we doing here? No chance at making the block. Hits Matt Ryan, fumble. They're going to lose this game. And I was watching it at my in-laws. I said, they are going to lose. You're crazy. No, they will lose this game. Those are plays right there that teams end up losing games. And then they threw a pass to Julio Jones. And then I said, all they need to do is run the ball here and kick a field goal. They're up 2 scores. They dropped back again, took a sack out of field goal range. Look at this. I told you they are losing this football game. They are cracking under the pressure. That was Kyle Shanahan. That's why I believe Patrick Mahomes, everybody could say, oh, he's learned from, his past. Well, I'll believe it when I see it because there's something about Patrick Mahomes that's similar to Tom Brady. It makes you do crazy things. Makes you do crazy things in this instance.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And you've seen so many different times. Kyle Shanahan has been right there on the doorstep, unable to get home, unable to get through it. But I'm just loving the fact that this could be Dan and Elkhorn wanted to confirm. Yes, I think it was clear that this is for trying to be the first team to win the Super Bowl, not appear in the Super Bowl. No one cares if you go twice and don't win it twice, right? Seattle went
4 times
back-to-back years. Buffalo went 4. No, Pat Mahomes trying to do something that they haven't done since Brady, win it back-to-back years. I thought that was pretty clear, but just wanted to make sure that was clear. All right, who do you want to sit next to? Who do you least want to sit next to? Tommy and Bayview's got an answer for us right here on 9 to noon. Tommy, what's on your mind?
Hey, boys. Ideally, I would love to sit between KB and Billy Muscles because I would get drunk and lay stupid money on stupid stuff and probably have the time of my life.
There you go. That'd be like the yin and the yang on their each shoulder, right? Like Billy's,
See,
betting, knows the play.
And what I love about
KB's like, what do you think these guys drive after the game? KB's little
and the best part about Tommy is he's admitting like what the Super Bowl is for him. You can be a football fan and then the Super Bowl is something completely different for you.
Oh yeah,
right? You can be a football fan and your team's not in it, and it's like, okay, the football is great, and I'm going to watch the football, but I'm going to drink mumblers with KB, and Billy's going to talk me into running 700 prop bets that are going to lose 699 of them. Yes, I want to be a part of this, and I want to figure out a way to put $2 on each one of these 700 bets.
We're going to find a way, and we're going to find a way together to be able to grab a wheelbarrow full of cash and take it all away from Potawatomi. We got 2 up at 9 to noon on Twitter, as the kids call it, X these days. This one is pretty staggering to me that it's as close as it is within the first hour of the response. If you don't watch the Super Bowl, are you a football fan? Hell nah, or of course. Just 2 options. If you watch the Super Bowl, can you call yourself a football fan? 51.5% saying hell no. 48.5% saying, of course.
That's
you don't have to watch the Super Bowl.
Shocking.
The biggest television event of the year in the world. Yeah, but I still like the game. I just didn't want to watch that one. 414-799-1973. We got a bunch of responses here. And even better, we got so many good responses. And one from Mike Heller shows how frustrated he is that we found him. We scooped Heller on who would you rather sit with and who do you least want to sit with. Next, right here for Super Bowl week on The Game.
To have a little party every Halloween with candy by the pile, but now you only stop by every once in a while.
17 years ago, yesterday.
Yep.
I mean, it was yesterday. I don't think we had to play the Bears highlight.
Sorry.
Could we at least play like one of the Colts highlights of them feeling miserable after? That would make me feel almost a little bit better, because at that exact moment, I remember that Super Bowl very, very well. Hosting one of the Super Bowl parties we're talking about right here. My folks had a hot tub, so many of my friends were like, dude, let's just go sit in the hot tub.
Let's go.
No, let's watch the game. Well, I'm gonna go hang out here. I think my buddy Jake sat in the hot tub that night for 4.5 hours. Amazed he's not dead. Like, it just hanging out there the whole time. I'm sitting there in a online purchased Peyton Manning t-shirt. So I was like, I cannot let the Bears win this game. Let the Bears win this game. Everything in my power to make sure that the Colts came out victorious that night.
I was nervous too. I did not want the Bears to win. I was in college. I was around a bunch of Chicago fans. They really thought they were going to win it. They're like, Devin Hester opening kickoff. They were just in their moment. I'm like, please come back, Colts. And they did. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness we didn't have to deal with that. 414-799-1973. But if you were watching that highlight, if that was happening this weekend, who would you most want to be sitting with on the game? And who would you least like to be sitting next to at the game? Buddy in East Hampton, 414-799-1973. I'll sit with Kuhn, won't sit next to Zabe. That might be a common denominator we get here. Coming on up here. I like this one from Fisherman Joe. Sit by Armin. His intensity is unmatched.
I will get into it. That's one thing I will get into it. Like, I'll be high-fiving you. I'll be shaking your shoulders. I'll be doing all this stuff. If you like that energy, I usually am there providing it. I'm up, I'm down. Some people say it gives me anxiety.
Sit next to Armin.
Right, exactly.
You're going to do the Steve Ballmer and grab my leg and shake it one of the times when something good happens?
Well, you know, I do get intense to it sometimes. But the one thing is, some people say that gives them anxiety. And I don't want to give anyone anxiety either. So, Armin, will you sit down, please? I'm like, no, I can't.
Fisherman Joe wants to sit next to Armin. Nowhere near Heller. We've seen a couple of people against Mike Heller on this message a few different times. This one from James John hits me right in the feels. Love this one. This just might be my best Super Bowl ever. My only son, my only child, who has resisted every faction of sports up until this point, has gone head over heels with sports card collecting, autograph collecting, and NBA. So I plan on dropping like 200 or so on some of the most expensive sports card packs of football, fill the house up with snacks and candy, let my son indulge in sports, and feed into the sports monster. Just trying to lock in some extra special memories. I want my local sports card shop to be purchased to have an Aaron Rodgers autograph. I'm going to sneak that card into one of his packs. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Be my secret until he's old enough to know the truth. Or, you know, if he just heard me say it on the air. That is amazing, James. Like, I can't fathom sitting there knowing that's about to, just knowing that he's about to rip into one of those packs, knowing he's going to get his favorite player. That's awesome. Feed that beast. Feed that beast. Like when you said the other couple of weeks, John, when you looked on over and how did he take the loss last night? Tough, man. There were a lot of tears. You know, you got to be proud. You got one now.
That's a proud moment when your kid cries after his first disappointing football game, right? Whether it's
gotta have
Packers,
some heartbreak,
49ers, or one of the ones that we've suffered throughout the years. Yeah. I mean, that's when you know it means something. That's when you know they are in it for the long haul, when they're truly recognized as a fan for the first time.
Yes. And I understand and appreciate and applaud to an extent the case study and the belief of I'm not gonna force my kid to like sports. I'm not gonna force you to do anything, but I'm going to try and do anything and everything possible to show why it's so important to me. And then just pray upon pray that you then enjoy it.
There's no forcing involved. I'm just going to put it in front. Bad? No, I don't think so. See, I always think it's one of the things you can become blessed with. Being a big sports fan, it's one of the best blessings in life. I often feel bad for people who don't love sports. Like, I really do, because they'll never have that glow after their team wins a big game that you just can't. It's just unmatched. That feeling of excitement, that's just unmatched. That natural high you get when you win a big game. And on the flip side, you know, there's going to be a lot of those gut punches. It's It's the old consequence of caring. I know there was the old Bill Simmons article. I always read it, but I think you're more enriched in life when you have those ups and downs, and you're more enriched feeling it. And that's what being a really true sports fan is all about. So I agree, Billy. Just put it right in front of his face all the time. Now, you're not forcing anything.
No.
You're just showing it to him every day.
Showing, why it's important, why people like it.
Right.
Rhonda responded to our what 97.3 The Game host must you sit beside, and what host would you sit furthest away from at the Super Bowl party? Rhonda, I'd sit next to Kuhn and stay away from, well, she said Zane. I think she's saying Zabe, and possibly Armin. Love you, Armin.
Fair enough.
But I'm not a party person. I'm there to watch the game, and I'd listen to Kuhn for the game insight without peppering him with questions. There you go, Rhonda.
Let's go, Rhonda.
Putting in
I'm
her
okay
case.
with that.
I know
I'm okay
this
with
for a
that.
fact. Some people like sitting next to me. Some people hate sitting next to me, right? Because I will say things that will burst their bubble and upset them. Right? So many times I'm like, it's holding. It was a touchdown. What are you talking about? It's, oh man,
Just wait.
there's a flag. Okay, there was holding. You saw that was holding. Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I ruin that for you? Did you want to celebrate the touchdown? Did you want to celebrate the points before you found out it was or holding on the play? Like, I'm sorry I yelled that
Just
out
let you know.
so soon. I'm sorry that I let the cat out of the
Yeah,
bag
you did.
before they actually called it on television.
You Debbie
My
Downer.
favorite is the number of people that said Steve would be hard to listen to because he'd be talking about the sound. He'd be talking about the announcers. He'd be talking about the field, the graphics, and the commercials.
Yeah.
He'd be talking about the scoreboard at the bottom and why it should be lit up differently. Yes, that would be tough.
I just can't get into it, Armin, with these new camera angles they've been using on these cams.
8K
Yeah,
cameras are
these-
too clear.
I just can't do it. I need a better surround sound pixelation or something. Yeah, he'll come up with something that has nothing that you just didn't think of that affects his enjoyment of the game. Right. They don't
Dano-
talk about it.
Dano the Mano, I'd love to catch the big game with Kuhn, dog. Armin, you would have to watch the game in the basement. Seems too highly wound to actually be able to enjoy anything with him around, let alone the Super Bowl.
That's fair
Man.
enough. But let me ask you this question. Don't you want to be excited about the biggest game in your favorite sport? Isn't that the point? Is to get excited? Oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting excited about it. Now, not everyone, apparently, some don't even like watching the football game that they claim they're football fans. That's a weird one for me. So I guess maybe not everyone does want to be excited about football.
One more from the text line before we go back to the phones, 414-799-1973. I would love to be stuck between Zabin and Heller. Said no one ever. Just kidding. I love those guys. But truly, I would enjoy sitting between you three. You guys are hilarious and obviously knowledgeable. Can't stand being around next to people with no football brain. There you go, Calvin.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think our running commentary would be kind of like funny. I think we'd have some obvious, little digs to get in or funny moments. I think that could be good.
But do people really want to be listening to a radio show while you're
point.
having the game?
Good question.
Like that also is one of the reasons why I feel as much as I want to have my spot, I know that I want to make sure that I have one of the best views of the game. I might be the unsocial one. I might be the one that I'm not trying to do a radio show. I'm trying to let Tony Romo call Gene Steratore in to tell him what happened on a 2nd and 2 play. Right? Gene, Tony, they didn't snap the ball. It was a false start. I don't know, Gene. Was it look? No, it's a false start. I want to hear the displeasure that they have there on the commentary. Let's go to Tim in Fredonia. He's up at 414-799-1973. Tim, who do you want to be sandwiched in between? Who could you not stand to be next to?
Well, gentlemen, when we went to Nooner Day a couple of years ago, and I asked Cooney about that play where Rodgers hit Cobb against Chicago, and he explained to me how that play worked out. It didn't actually go as designed, but I would sit next to Cooney because he knows the intricacies of the game, and I always watch the lines. I watch the protections. I don't necessarily watch the quarterback dropping back, and I think Cooney knows the intricacies of the game and why that was a cutoff block or why he cut him there or whatever. I'm just examples. Heller would be the opposite. No disrespect to Heller, but Heller thinks he knows everything. So, so it'd kind of be the opposite. I think I'd listen to the Coon, and then Coon actually likes to buy drinks too. I don't know about Mike Heller, but Coon can buy drinks.
Mike is catching
now,
strays.
I will say Mike will buy drinks. That's for sure. Now,
Okay, and I don't know. I don't know.
Now, Mike will buy drinks. But more than anything, he might just tell you more about the drink that he bought you and to why it's the best one.
Yeah, he's got what I call in our business there. I call it a long jawbone. So he likes to talk. But those are my two. No disrespect to Heller. I'll probably call him this afternoon. And Mike, if you're listening, Sorry, man. No disrespect. Hey, I got to get you guys my you bet picks yet.
Well,
So
we can.
you get those for Sunday.
You just get me
When do I need
anytime
them by,
this
Armin?
anytime this
Little
week.
brag
Friday
there at the
morning.
end.
Yeah, no.
Nice little shot. I
Tim's
like that,
eligible
Timmy.
for
Attaboy.
Speaking of conversation,
Talk
Tim
your
is
stuff.
eligible for dinner. Yeah. So, and he said, all right, anytime this
Awesome.
week. Yep. All right.
Hey, awesome. Thanks, you guys. See you later. Bye.
We'll see you later. We might be seeing you at Carnivore, Milwaukee's premier steakhouse, because you might be able to eat with the guys if he's able to win that bad boy.
Yeah. How do you feel about being assigned a nickname, John? He gave you like 4 or 5 Coonies. Well, I don't even
Cool with
think
that. I'm fine with that.
You're okay with that. We never
Yeah.
call you Cooney. I've never heard anyone, but he just felt
Don't know that
comfortable
I'm going to
enough.
start. but-
Yeah, we'll just give you a Cooney. I mean, we gave you.
Coon dog.
Coon Dog's a
Yeah.
nickname, maybe, but
Yeah, I've had so many nicknames over the years. It doesn't. I mean, I just roll with it now. Armini.
yeah. What are you gonna say? Like, you put the Y at the end of anyone's name. Well, Billy already exists.
That's a total
Cooney.
Chuck Freeman move.
Totally.
Oh, sorry, Eddie. What are we doing over here, Army?
Well,
Doesn't really work
he's
for
two.
Army.
He's 2 syllables, so you just shorten his to arm. Come
That's-
on, arm.
Come on, Arm.
Let's get it,
Come
arm
on here.
dog.
Arm
Come on,
dog,
arm dog.
armpit, arm hang, arm. I get my man Aaron Spencer.
Underarm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have definitely called you armpit for
underarm,
quite some
yeah,
time.
hammer.
if
I
we
got
went
an
to high
arm and
school
hammer,
together.
arm and hammer, arm dog, armpit, arm everything. Yep, I got a lot of those.
Mickey the Fitz. I want to sit with Billy and Kuhn, football guys who love food and will break down the game. Hopefully, Drew and KB are locked in the basement somewhere. Heller can hold court in the kitchen away from me, and Armin can be the talkative host and help out with any of our requests.
I've been known to do that.
Sounds like you're doing the Matt LaFleur, Robert Saleh deal at the
Yeah.
Brian Kelly
Yeah,
party.
parking
Hey, yeah,
cars.
you're parking cars. You're not
Parking-
here, bud.
Yeah, I'm not parking cars. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, parking cars. That was hilarious, man. That is a funny one. Imagine
My
go from
favorite,
parking
my,
cars
my
to head
favorite
coach.
one on here is unnamed in the 414 that said I'd be in the garage with pipe bomb, burning heaters, listening to the game on the radio.
You know what? We haven't got enough pipe bomb. I think pipe would be the one.
That is my favorite one by far. And there'd be a lot of people seeing pipe bomb in the garage. This one's hanging out with them for the entire game, listening to it on the radio.
Guarantee whoever people are guessing by the third, fourth quarter, everyone's going to congregate around pipe. There's no doubt about it. I think
Well,
he'd be
because he's
attracted.
sitting in the garage.
Yeah.
You know that the door is only slightly ajar so the smoke can get on out, but that's where all the beer is, right? Like you got to walk
Yep.
through the kitchen to the garage to go and get a couple of cold ones. And then, oh, you guys are still in here. Yeah, we got it over here on 97.3 The Game, where you can be listening to Super Bowl 58. Your home for football, your home for the NFL. Westwood One's coverage right here on 97.3 The Game, kickoff at 5:30.
Who's going to be calling that?
5:34 or something like that. Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, I
Kevin
figured.
gets it. Yep.
And I
How many
believe
Super Bowls
Kurt
has he
Warner.
done now?
Oh gosh, 17 maybe in a row
Wow,
on radio. Yeah. And not just blowing smoke because it's on our air. Dude, you want an intense, enjoyable listen to the Super Bowl? Kevin Harlan, every second and 3 run will feel like the final play of the game. Like it is as intense and as exciting of a 4-hour broadcast as you will ever get there at the Super Bowl.
No doubt about
Right?
it.
Wait,
Sorry
almost as exciting as that. 414-799-1973, Brian in West Dallas. Okay, I thought about this for a bit. I've decided who I want to sit with and who I will not sit with for the Super Bowl. Okay, Brian, let us hear it. First, the seat I don't want. Honorable mention, Ken in the Falls, because he's just always there. But of the employees,
that would be the one. That's absolutely
of the employees that I don't want to sit next to, I'm going with Drew because he would just sit there not cheering as he's been neutered as a fan and then would tell KB tell me about how I should feel about what I just saw. The seat I want is next to Armin. I can sit there and ask him so many stupid questions that when he gets upset and leaves, I'll give Billy the head nod. Then I tell him that I got him a great seat. Come on over here, Billy, and let's watch the last half of the game.
Just to think I gave you the bell on that one. He just wants to rattle my cage and get me out of there. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, that's a good one.
There are strategies to this now. If you want extra real estate, you sit next to Zabe. You know he's not staying for the whole game. He'll be out.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Early way home because he's got an early show the next day. He doesn't need to watch the end. He'll just talk about probably leave just after halftime.
Deviation.
Armin, you could rattle Armin's cage, get him
probably.
up, moving around, just talk to him too
He's
much.
bouncing after the first one.
Apparently, Armin doesn't like people talking too much. I don't understand that.
No,
one bit.
I think you took that wrong, or maybe I framed it wrong. I don't mind people talking. In fact, I love the conversation. I just would think it's more enjoyable if it's about the game and not about, what's happening this weekend or a little, small talk, whatever. That's all
so
I'm
you
saying.
don't want to talk about Taylor Swift during the Super Bowl?
It's not that I'm against talking about it or making that part of the conversation.
Okay.
I'm just saying, so Armin, when's the next time you're doing this? And I'll just keep it focused on the game. Let's keep the conversation focused. Right?
How are you and Laura doing? You guys doing good? You got any vacations coming up here lately?
Yeah. Are you going to Sunburn
So
Bowl
who
next
are
week?
you watching the Super Bowl with this year, Armin? Are you going to do it? Is it going to be a family ordeal?
Yeah. Laura's parents always host in-laws. So yeah, they always host. It's a great time, fun time. They always put out a little.
But that sounds like an inevitable life conversations during the game.
Big time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. And I'm not against live conversations, but
It kind of sounds
let's
like
save
you
it.
are.
There's no downtime in a Super Bowl game, halftime, commercials, all important to watch. It's going to be content.
Will they be more into the commercials or more of the game?
They'll be more into whatever their own conversation is. Let's be
I
honest. My
think
parents
you
will be
need-
there. Laura's parents will be there. That's just the way it is. Yeah, John.
I think you need to wear it. Just take a sign, right? Go early to this thing so you can get all the pertinent conversations
Good call.
out of the
Yes.
way.
Good point.
What's the condo looking like? What's your next upgrade? When are you guys having babies?
You guys
When are
gonna
we
buy a
gonna have
house soon?
pictures?
All
Like,
those
this
questions.
stuff, all the big questions. How's your new car driving? Has it been stolen yet? Like all the pertinent questions that are
fixed.
very important to you.
Hasn't been fixed yet when you got
and
rear-ended.
then when you sit down, you hang this little thing, and it could be like a bib from Red Lobster, right? It can have the chain around it with the two little clips on each side, and on that sign it says, "I'm here to watch the game." Like, you just let it be known when you sit down, "I'm here to watch the game." TV timeout. All of a sudden they go to commercials. You flip it around. Open for business. You just spin the sign around. Open for business. You ready to talk now? You could even put some lights on it. Have it be a light up sign that tells people when they can talk to you and when they can't. I think Laura's family might respect that.
Like put
They
like
might.
a red
might not.
light, the on-air light, like an on-air light.
Yeah, bring
Yes.
it on air light and turn it on when you can't be talking.
Game is on.
I will say
I'm
this,
sure they
though.
got spare on air lights
Yeah.
hanging around the studio somewhere.
I do like going though, because then my father-in-law, my brother-in-law love
I hope
football, and
Yeah.
well, yeah, of course. but my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, they're going to be into the game, so we're going to have the good conversation going. So it's always fun to talk to them. So obviously, I'm excited, but it's just, you got to avoid the mom questions. Like I'm going to go on this TV. My brother-in-law's watching. My father-in-law usually relegates in that area, and then
How many
then we're
TVs they
into it.
have? They have
They
multiple living rooms?
they're usually going with we usually have the two TV set up when different, like one's near the kitchen, one's near the main living room. I just got to find the right spot with the right conversation, and then we'll be good to go.
Are you going to measure it out like our guy Ted Davis used to? How many paces you are from the
6
chair
steps, yeah.
to the bathroom? How many paces you are from there to the food table?
I won't, but I probably could do it the way Ted
Yeah.
used to do it. 6 paces from
It's
the
one of my
big red
favorite
chair.
deals.
He loved that. He always loved doing that. Hey, I got to mention this one too. It was Deviation Don who had one no one had yet. He said, "Give me Kuhn and Schneidman." I'd take gummies and die laughing with the two of them going at each other the whole game. Now, there you go. Brick and the stick. Right between the brick and the stick. How about that, John? That
Breaking a
would be
stick
good.
for 3 hours would be hard. Sometimes it's hard to get 45 minutes. Yeah, I mean, that would be hard.
How annoyed would Matt get?
I think if I was there, I'd probably make Matt leave by the start of the halftime period. I think we could make him a little too flustered that he would get a little upset and probably walk
Now,
out.
if you like stories about football, though, you probably could ask Matt 1 or 2 questions, and he would give you a nice long dissertation. Actually, I interviewed that coach
Whoa, it's
3
the
years
third
ago.
quarter already.
Yeah,
Holy
exactly.
cow.
So you might enjoy that part of it because you get long form stuff from Matt. He's really good.
Now
at
the
that.
Schneidmans are coming in. Paul from New Berlin. I want to sit between Schneidman and Matt Miller for the Super Bowl. I like the diversity with Schneidman, who's drier than toast, and Miller, who's fun to hear his critique.
Well, Matt would give good analysis on the commercials and the entertainment aspect of it. If you like that, he'd be a good one to sit next to.
Oh, there's some fantastic ones. Coach G, maybe with a wrong assessment of a couple of members of our staff, and they keep flowing in. So keep them coming. 414-799-1973. We'll spin off just a little bit into the rest of the happenings in the NFL here, but keep it right here as well and keep your reaction flowing. Who would you want to sit next to? Who do you not want to sit next to here on the game? And also, if you're not watching the game, can you call yourself a football fan? 9 to noon. The Twitter poll question here on 9 to noon with Kuhn, Billy, and Armin on the game.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And right now, Pella is letting it up to you It's your choice. It's your idea. What do you want to do? Do you want 0% interest for up to 5 years? Or do you want to make no down payment with no interest and no payments for up to 18 months? Can you imagine having beautiful Pella windows and doors installed, but not having to make a single payment on them for a year and a half? Well, you need to take advantage because this deal at Pella only lasts until February 29th. Pella's expert team installs year-round, and they can customize any window or door to match your unique home. They finish installation in as little as 1 day, and when they leave, you can barely tell they were there. Your gorgeous new windows and doors are an obvious sign, but that's really about it. I'm telling you, I was blown away by the talent, the efficiency, and the professionalism that encapsulate the team at Pella Windows and Doors. Start customizing your home today with 0% interest to up to 5 years, or make no down payment, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. And tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends February 29th.
Big face, she can't see my room in the hallway.
Now that would be the example of don't fear betting against the greatest of all time. Plus 180 on the money line. Philadelphia Eagles that night winning Super Bowl 52. That would have been what, 6 years ago yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah. And I know it wasn't 6 years ago today, but we didn't have a show yesterday, so I thought I'd play it anyway.
True, we didn't work on Sunday,
Yeah.
which I like. I'm a big fan of that. We might be working this upcoming Sunday if indeed you are welcomed in to the 97.3 The Game Super Bowl party. But you got to pick where you want to sit, where you don't want to sit. Coach G, oh yeah. I would love to sit next to Josh because he loves chili as much as I do. That would be one way. You guys just going to grab the whole crock pot and bogart that bad boy right there on the Davenport?
Doesn't mean he's going to make it, though. I don't think he makes chili. He just eats it. So, like, you still got to bring chili or make it, or someone's got to make the chili. But if you just want to sit there and talk and eat chili, I guess
if Josh has the chili, Natty Oaks is making it. Yeah, like they're making it and he's bringing it.
Yeah.
Now he might be that helpful. Just bringing some on in. Coach G also adds in, I would love to sit by in no particular order, like that distinction, Billy, John, Brian Butch, or Armin.
Well, that's like half the station, but I get it. I appreciate it.
He can't choose. He can't pick.
All right. I think it's like me when I go up to the window and bet every guy just to have a winner. You know, I got one.
Sometimes you just got to see one go through the net.
Exactly.
You just got to see one go through the net.
What was that? Minus 890. I'm like, well, yeah, I thought Alabama was going to beat Bethune-Cookman or something.
Same guy that just said he was not going to put down a minus 400 on Taylor Swift. You know, it was a lock. You knew that she was winning that.
I know. I should have.
Not sure if I would sit near El Baldo, but it seems like it would be entertaining at the very least. Well, entertaining for some, that's for sure. 920, I would watch with anyone at the station, but if I had to pick, it would be Kuhn because he's got the hardware of those two fabulous rings.
Let's go, baby.
Are you wearing the Super Bowl rings for Super Bowl Sunday? Do you just wear one on each side just to show that off when you're scooping on in there for the taco dip with a jalapeno?
Whoops,
I
sorry.
should do that. I
That'd be
should
awesome.
do that. I mean, if I go to a setup, if I go to a big party this year, I think I might have to do that. Problem is my rings don't fit my fingers anymore. The only finger it fits is my pinky.
Ooh,
so now
okay.
I have to wear them on the pinkies because they don't fit my fingers anymore.
Did you get them
like
fitted?
a real G, like a real G?
I've said this a million times. I really think the people that fit you for Super Bowl rings, they need to have better insight on who they're fitting here.
That's fair.
We're all
yeah.
playing football. We're all going to break our hands a number of times. We're all going to jam our fingers a number of times. Convince us at the very least to get our biggest finger, or maybe at least the middle finger fit for this, so that if you fit your middle finger, if your fingers get bigger, it'll fit some other fingers. And if it gets smaller, then you still have an index finger that it could go on. I mean, I think sizing you for your ring finger is generally your second smallest finger. So if your fingers get bigger, you're done. It only fits your pinky.
Yeah, get that right, Jostens.
Well, seriously, let's figure it out.
It's a gripe, Harmon. I have these two Super Bowl rings. I got to wear them on my damn pinkies. And the worst part is,
I just couldn't think of who else makes rings is Jostens. That was the thing.
The worst part is one of them is like snug on my pinky, which is good. The other one's a little loose on my pinky. So
Dangerous.
I got to constantly just be curling that pinky to keep it on my hand.
Yeah, it slides,
and
right.
And I talk with my hands, so I feel like this thing's going to fly off all the damn time. By the time I get home at night, I'm getting cramps in my palm from keeping my pinky and my ring finger so tightly clenched. Yeah, it's just
John. Why don't you wear your Super Bowl ring? Because I don't want to tear a ligament in my hand.
People say it all the time, man. I do. Maybe I need to get over it. Maybe I need to forgive and just never forget. But that's where I'm at right now. I got a grudge right now.
Jostens, what's up? Hey, but John runs in there. But before anyone takes any of the dip, if you have the chili cheese bacon dip, please look for a Super Bowl ring. I think it fell in.
Yeah.
Nobody take a bite.
My gold one from 40 is in there. Watch out, please. I don't want that thing. I don't want too many jalapenos on there. Swartz Center.
Yeah.
I'm sitting next to Billy so we can stress over our bets together. No need to sit next to Zabe and have him asking questions that I have about nothing.
Wait, let me get video of this. He's going to set up the tripod. He's going to get the video set up. He's like, wait, guys, this is a great asset. Let's get this.
No, you're cheering during a touchdown and he pauses it. Okay, we got to get this live. Let's do it again. He's rewinding it. He's setting up the camera. He's like, All right, everybody, go. Oh, you just
Come on, man. Oh God, too many good ones. Too many good. I also like throughout here. How about this one from Tom in MSP? I want to sit between Heller and Brian Noe. Now that could get good.
That would be
I didn't know Brian Noe was getting the ceremonial invite.
Give me the dip after the game.
I
want some of that
think he
dip.
should be on the roster. If
I think
Schneid's
so,
is on
too.
the
Yeah,
roster,
absolutely.
Brian Noe can be on the roster. I mean, there's not many people as polarizing as Brian Noe on these airwaves. I mean, he's polarizing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I say put him on the roster. There's no doubt about it. Why not?
Well, Simba in Port said, oops, I'm throwing Tim Allen in there.
Let's
I
go.
like that one. Okay. Throwing that toss on in there. If they're going to be a part of it, might as well. Outlaw Pete. The callers are right. Heller is a know-it-all.
Jeez, how did they not expect this strays from Mike? I thought he'd be one of the better ones to sit by.
Has a bit of an ego, but always tries to pass it off. I think it'd be fun to sit next to Kuhn, Armin, Pipe, and Billy. Again, you only get one. You
In a
only get
circle.
one.
We'll sit in a circle around you, all five of us. all
Somebody is wanting that as a drop, as Harmon's telling us all to circle on up. Learn some things from Kuhn about football perspective and a lot of fun with the other guys as well. Oh, we're going to have some fun. That's for sure. No doubt about it. It's going to be a great time. More importantly, I also would like to know what you're bringing to the party because it sounds like there's going to be a pretty impressive spread out here. Want to make sure that you're contributing. Jeff in a coffee van. What's the difference between a van and a coffee van?
I'm sorry. Oh, is it a van that he's like a food truck? He
we
serves
delivering
coffee?
coffee.
Hey, you can bring that
selling
on.
coffee.
If you got some, bring that on by.
Are there coffee truck? Does he roll around with one of those ice cream ding da ding ding da ding 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 da ding?
And they just have iced coffee in there or something?
Yeah,
Or?
he's like, hey, I'm the coffee man.
Right? Why not?
Yeah, you know what it's like when somebody comes rolling by the park in the summer and you hear that jingle. Ding, 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 ding,
The
ding,
kids
ding,
go
ding,
sprinting.
oh my gosh, the ice cream man. They all go rolling over. Here the coffee truck guy goes down into the business district of Milwaukee and all the people are like, it's
Right.
the coffee man.
Running out there with their
all the
Yetis and
workers are
Stanleys.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Running down there. Oh my God, the coffee truck's here. Somebody go get me one.
Finally here. Finally
It's
here.
actually a great idea. Maybe we should come up with something like that.
Yeah, we got no follow through for that one, though.
Yeah,
There's just no chance.
Okay.
All right, sorry. Jeff in the coffee van. That we still want to know more about your coffee van, Jeff. Stand next to Butchie. Doesn't seem like a guy who can sit very long. 3 hours of unhinged non sequiturs. I'm going to avoid Heller and 3 hours of being told how little I truly understand
Wow.
about the game.
Wow.
Man, Mike is just getting berated
Yeah.
out here. I sit next to Mike during Packer games. I enjoy it.
Yeah, man.
I've done a couple shows with Mike. Is he that much of a know-it-all?
I never got that sense, but hey, I mean, I get some people might feel that way, but I never got that sense. I think Mike would be great. Now, yes, stand next to Butch, but not behind him. You'd probably have
Yeah,
a-
you got to go next to him.
yeah,
You got to go next
that'd
to
be,
him.
that'd be tough. Now, Butch is one. He didn't really. I don't think he was really ready. Butch and I really had never watched games together. Last year, we're at First and Bowl watching the NCAA tournament, and I don't think he was ready for me to a certain extent. Like when Furman was coming back and making their big comeback win in the NCAA tournament, I was freaking out, and Butch just kept giving me looks like, "Will you settle down? Will you stop jumping all over me? Like, just settle down, Armin." I'm like, let's go. This is crazy. So Butch, I don't think would want to watch it with me. If you ask him this question, I guarantee he'd say my name. I think that's one of them there.
Michael and Appleton with a great spin on this one. All right, here's how it goes, fellas. I'd like to sit between Hunter and Schneidman because, like Billy, I'm a fellow fat. With those two skinny dorks next to me, I know that one, my food is safe. Two, I'm going to have ample room on the couch. That's another good point. You do have to factor in how much space is going to be there. The folks that are saying they're going to sit next to John and I, now I'm much more rounder, but John's still much more stock. You're going to be fighting for some room there because we're both going to want a little bit of leg room, both going to need a little bit of elbow room, and it might get a little bit snug. I like that from Michael and Appleton. Next level. He's playing chess,
I
not
love
checkers.
Tell John he can buy a ring size adjuster for his loose ring, a clear plastic piece on Amazon. There you go, John. Super Bowl ring. Get an Amazon.
Fix it on
Yeah,
Amazon.
fix it
Yeah,
on
that would
Amazon.
work out really, really well.
That was unnamed here.
414-799-1973. Keep them coming. Some folks are going to hear that word and wonder why we're discussing Lisa Ann next. Very, very interesting situation from one of the mothers of one of the most fruitful industries in the world. She was getting dragged out like stone cold last night. We'll fill you in exactly why next on the game.
Try to dance like a video vixen. Said her man be on that bullshit pimpin'.
I did nothing. I did nothing wrong. I didn't touch my phone. I wanted to see Matt Rife because he's a friend of mine. And I go to jail.
Going to jail. That's Lisa Ann, mother to countless stepsons. Last night at the Matt Rife show. Now, I believe this was in New York. Could be very wrong on that, speculating, trying to read into all the tea leaves. But that video that one Lisa Ann posted last night, I was up right around like 12:30, couldn't sleep, fell asleep right after the Bucks and Jazz, and woke back up in the middle of it. 40-13 in the fourth quarter. Come on. Like, just like,
that was rough.
Oh,
Tough
and
night,
I'm sitting there watching
Tough
some
one.
more of the highlights. I'm like, how on earth did this slip away?
Tough one.
How
because
on earth does that slip away?
You felt so good after the win the night before with
Yeah.
Dallas, then the back
Huge
to back.
comeback.
So you're like, oh, no Chris, no Brooke, back to back at Utah. But then the Bucks were in control through 36 minutes, so that was what made that one tough for me. Yeah,
So-
and then you see that. Then you see what happens in New York with Lisa.
And I just I
It's
can't
tough.
handle it. I mean, Lisa Ann, 12.7 million views
Yeah.
on this video that
Don't
Armin
tell-
just played the 9 seconds of.
Don't tell me people don't care. And yeah, she was on her wasn't on her phone, guys.
I didn't touch my phone.
Didn't touch my phone, Tim. Armin, were you on your phone during that segment?
I
No,
didn't
Tim.
touch my phone.
No, I wasn't.
No, I wasn't.
Didn't
Not
touch
me.
it.
Is it this?
You're gonna send that to him every time he asks now.
I didn't touch my phone.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't touch
think
it.
you should.
No,
I think
no.
you
I
should.
didn't touch my phone. The quote or the response of the tweet out here, John, from at the real Lisa Ann. This is not a bit.
I love that.
I was arrested real life last night at the Matt Rife show at Radio City Music Hall. WTF.
I'm gonna raise my hand. Anyone else did not know who Matt Rife was? Anybody else? I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely
still don't
know.
know.
Yeah, he's
Comedian?
one of the hottest comedians going right now. He big on TikTok, big fan.
Oh,
lot of people
so
big fans of him.
So comedians, the big thing now is you take your phone, you lock it up in a bag.
Lock it up.
It's
Yeah,
locked.
the Chappelle thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
You lock it up. You just lock it up, and then they unlock it for you. You're allowed to hold the bag with your phone in. But
Okay,
you can't get your phone out of the bag.
and
So we're finding out she had her phone potentially. She said she didn't have a phone. She was
I
not
didn't
on her
touch
phone.
my
She wasn't on it.
No, I get it. She said she was not on. But was the phone in the bag?
was it in the bag?
I did nothing wrong. I didn't touch my phone.
Good question.
Was it in your bag,
Good.
or was it in the bag that they gave you to put it in? That's another question.
I wanted to see Matt Rife because he's a friend of mine.
A friend of mine. That was interesting too. He's a friend of mine. You're just not a fan. But he's a friend of yours. Like you're a VIP. Okay,
Well,
I thought
she's
that-
Lisa Ann, Armin.
It's easy to say. I understand
What
that. But
25-year-old famous individual that's starring and selling out Radio City Music Hall is not going to try to call Lisa Ann a friend of his?
well, she's saying that he's a friend of hers. He might have agreed if he had a chance to go corroborate. Said, yeah, we can. Be
hold
friends.
on. Lisa
Yeah,
Ann's
I'm
with
good
me.
with that. I'm good with classifying us as friends, but we just didn't know. I didn't know that yet that we were. I don't know.
Does Lisa Ann get into these comedy? I mean, does she have to pay to get in? Is
Great
she
question.
Were,
I
were
mean-
these tickets comped from him? Did she have
That's
a
another good
special
question.
backdoor entrance that she was able to enter?
Well-
and, yeah. Okay,
Other people usually, yeah.
Well, yeah, but okay. I'm just saying, did she have to go through the proper metal detectors?
I
Did
get
she
you,
have
yeah.
to? Was the proper protection used in this case? Did they have the bag to put the phone in? I'm just asking
True.
questions here.
Was it latex, non-latex? Yeah, all
Mhm.
important
I didn't touch my phone.
questions.
Did the cover break? Did the bag break and let the phone fall out and fall through?
And she was trying to grab it and save it.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Maybe there was just a big misunderstanding. So
I go to jail.
yeah, you're going to jail.
Going to jail.
I don't know.
Lisa Ann continued.
She get released. What was the bond? What was I mean, how bad of a thing
Could
is
you
this?
imagine sitting in a jail cell and the cell next to you, all of a sudden in comes Lisa Ann? Well, my night just got a little bit better. It was down in the dumps. I was feeling really bad.
Yeah.
My one phone call, they hung up on me, but at least I get to sit next to Lisa Ann.
She walks on in and goes,
Yeah, but doesn't end the way it usually does.
she said, wait, are you Pat Mahomes Sr.? Your son's playing the Super Bowl. That doesn't make any sense. I think just fantastic theater last night.
It's not a bit. It's
Lisa
not a bit.
Ann sitting next to Pat Mahomes Sr. What are you in here for? I was at a comedy show. I didn't touch my phone.
Didn't touch my phone.
He's like, yeah, well, I was driving again. Son of a gun.
That's not
Been
my
drunk.
phone in my pocket. You can check. It's not going to vibrate. Lisa Ann continued with multiple different responses. Tonight, I was arrested and harassed by the NYPD. They offered me a choice to be 5150 by ambulance and admitted to the hospital.
What?
Or arrested and put in jail over someone thinking I used my phone during the Matt Rife show. I'm at a loss of words of what I endured. Traumatic, unnecessary, and extreme are topping my list of emotions.
Can you explain this again? What's this? You can sit in a hospital or a prison, and why did she pick?
Don't they usually ask if you need medical attention? And when you're arrested or if you say you hurt me, like you need us to call medical, they
offered me a choice to be 5150.
I don't know what that means.
Does that mean like half by ambulance then put in jail?
Insanity?
It's a police code, I think. Let me look that up.
Yeah, look that up.
Does that mean legally insane? You need to be admitted for your own, self-preservation?
She said, this joker, uses a different word, holding my purse from me after handcuffing me for an alleged cell phone use during a Matt Rife show.
5150 is the number of the Welfare Institutions Code, which allows an adult who's experiencing mental health crisis to be involuntarily detained for a 72-hour psychiatric hospitalization when evaluated to be a danger for others. So they said, you want to come with us or do you want us to take you to a hospital for 5150, aka
are you okay?
Mental health crisis.
Wow.
Yes.
So this story goes out last night. And again, we want to make sure that everyone is safe and healthy and feeling good.
Of course.
Just way too many good jokes, way too many good memes. Immediately the memes of, and my personal favorite is Stone Cold Steve Austin in 98 getting dragged out of the arena, screaming and yelling by like 15 officers. It looked like if you put a beautiful cardigan over Stone Cold, over that t-shirt, he was Lisa Ann being dragged out of Radio City Music Hall last night. A lot of folks reading Lisa Ann handcuffs on the Twitter trends today, not expecting to see what they saw here in this video.
Yeah, that's Lisa Ann, and you said Pat Mahomes. That'd be quite a 30 for 30 if you came up with that one.
If they were sitting next to each other, that would be a hell of an episode. Did you ever wonder? Handcuffs?
Oh, sorry, I just thought you wanted to hit the promo. What if I told
you that a former porn star going sports analyst was handcuffed? Take a one-on-one interview with none other but the Super Bowl MVP father.
Premiering tomorrow night on ESPN.
Next on Cam Soda. I mean, just like amazing different bits of this. Like you can find different ways. And for many people that are asking, who is Lisa Ann? Lisa Ann is somebody that most people will know. Yeah, generally right there at the top of the charts for a long time there on the hub.
People call it and asking, who's Lisa Ann? Like your girlfriend's not going to read the text line. Don't worry.
Yeah, who are you impressing out there? Like who? What kind of cloud are you chasing with the? I don't know Lisa Ann.
I don't know who that is.
Maybe
no idea.
Maybe they haven't been in the game for a while. I mean, she is retired, right? So maybe they're not. Maybe unfamiliar with your game.
So they're new to the game.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was unfamiliar with your game.
She is retired.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with your game. That was where Frank and Gregsville said, "Can I at least get a response to this one, Billy? Is Lisa Ann hot enough to Google?" Frank, I'm gonna call you a liar on the talking text line. I think you've Googled it before.
First of all,
Googled it before.
Anybody's Googling takes 2 seconds. Okay, what is the kind of question is that? Yeah, we get it. You're funny. Okay.
Did you guys ever wonder though? I'm still. What would have to? I mean, how unfairly would you have to be treated? You're in the handcuffs. You're being walked to a squad car, and you're losing your mind. Like, I always put myself in that situation. I think, I'm just going to put my head down, make my way to the car.
Get in there as soon as possible.
And I'm going to figure this out later. I'm not going to be screaming from mountaintop.
Right.
Have you ever seen somebody, no, this is a serious question. Have you ever seen somebody, Lisa Ann included, scream from the mountaintops, I was not touching my phone. I was not doing anything. I was perfectly fine.
Wrong. I didn't touch my phone. I wanted to see Matt Rife. He's a friend of mine.
Did anybody ever do that? And the cops go, "Oh,
You're
my bad.
right.
Here, click, click. Let me
You're
let
right.
you go.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
okay,
we
I'm
changed our
sorry.
mind. You didn't bring it up that way, right?
Oh wait, now that you told us you didn't, okay, now we'll let you go. Look,
Got it. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
you've
good
never
point,
been in
John.
trouble before? You know, we let her go. Well, no one needs to be seen.
I've always wondered, all the damn screaming. Like, do you think it's going to work? Have you ever seen it work?
No.
More cases than not, it turns out worse for you.
Yeah. Instead, you turn up on someone's phone for a video that Lisa Ann's usually not into. Right? Like that's usually not a video that you would think, and all of a sudden, whoa, yikes! A fantastic story last night and it wasn't the only.
I did nothing wrong. I didn't touch my phone. I wanted to see Matt Rife. He's a friend of mine.
Because he's a friend of mine.
Matt Rife answering questions from his
Yeah, he's got a lot.
significant other
He's
today.
got a lot to explain for too.
His girlfriend right now is pissed. Okay, Lisa Ann,
Friend of yours, huh?
you got 2 minutes. Make it good because my bag is back.
I can't last 2 minutes. 414-799-1973. It is and it wasn't the only arrest last night. Killer Mike, who again,
What was that? about?
very
Yeah.
unfamiliar with your game. I know his I know what he's done outside of the music world. I've seen what he's done in being able to civil rights activism. Didn't know he was winning 3 Grammys that they gave away before the Grammys start. They say, hey, he's won 3 Grammys tonight.
Do
The
those
show
even
just
count?
started.
If they're giving the Grammys that aren't actually
I'm with
on
you.
the air, do those even matter?
Good point.
I don't think so. No.
Do
No.
they even count?
They
They're
get
kind of like their preseason wins. They're preseason
oh,
wins.
good one.
If
Yes.
you get the Grammy before the show actually starts, which I'll put my hand, I can't watch the Grammys anymore. But if you win a Grammy before the show starts, does it even count?
That doesn't make any sense to me. They're like,
No.
wait, I thought we were just watching 60 Minutes. Like, I don't know what exactly this was. That was the last minute. I didn't know that was 3 awards. Hour number 3 is going to be one that you cannot miss. Which head coaching candidate, which head coaching hire is the best one across the NFL? Who are you trying to sit next to? Who are you trying to stay as far away from as possible at the 97.3 The Game Super Bowl party? And we're all listening to Kevin Harlan call the game right here on 97.3 The Game. You're home for Super Bowl 58. You're home for the next hour of the best conversation in the state of Wisconsin. It's 9 to noon with Kuhn, Billy, and Armin on the game.
Got me doing things I'll never do if you ain't been, I'm telling you.
lot of response to our segment that wrapped up hour number 2, which was, I mean, pretty elite. Jake and Grafton, 30 for 30 was amazing. That Lisa Ann absolutely rolling over that. Then you get Mike and Slinger. Been on the hub for years, ages, decades. All right, sick brag, Mike.
Wow, decades? I don't
never
how long
heard
has it
her
been
name
around?
before.
Come on, man. Okay, fine. Maybe you haven't. I don't know.
No, I'm calling shine on that. There's no way
I'm with you, but
that you are now lauding yourself as a decade-long member. Again, I also don't know how long it's been an institution.
I guess I'll have to Google that one.
I guess
too.
Harmon's going to have to Google that one on the company Wi-Fi, by the way.
He's going to get kicked out.
I
of
probably
here.
shouldn't Google this.
You're gonna,
Should I
yeah,
stay-
you should probably-
Should I not type these words in
I
Google?
think it'll be okay, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Just say you
Just
long
only for
has-
research purposes only.
You were just looking for audio. That's
Yeah.
all you were doing. Not video, just audio.
Maybe if I go to Wiki first and search it in Wiki, that might be.
Oh,
a better
yeah,
idea.
it'll totally be way better.
Whoa.
Totally be way
Oh,
better.
here we go.
Here you
Okay.
go.
So it started in 2007 in Montreal, Quebec. Well, maybe he has been then for decades, because that would be 17
Maybe a decade
years.
and a half.
Well, yeah, you're right. So it couldn't be multiple decades. Good
Well,
point.
you round up decades.
You round up.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah, so it's past 5, so it's been a couple of times.
I know about rounding now because I've been teaching a lot of math to my 8. By the way,
Ooh.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
3rd grade math gets hard. Like
Damn, really?
hard. And I was, you know,
And it's new math, right,
I
John?
was pretty good at math.
I
Like,
was going to say, dude, you're smart. So if
I
you're
mean,
struggling with it,
I went up to 3 physics in college.
Oh,
when, you know,
jeez.
with the chemistry major and everything. Yeah, I mean, math was something always. Writing, talking, which is funny that I do that now. But
I was gonna say that's
that was
kinda
never-
backwards.
Yeah, writing and reading, never great. Never
Mhm.
great. That was always my weak spot. I always had to work on that. Math, not so much. But trying to teach math, ooh boy! And 3rd grade math, they have all these models now.
That's what I'm saying. It's new math, right?
They have the show all model
thought it was
with
math.
addition, where instead of just adding 2 numbers together, you break it down to 3 numbers, and then you add those 3 numbers. And I said, what kind of sense does the show all model make?
It doesn't.
Why am I taking 2 numbers, turning them into 3 numbers, and adding them together when I could just add the 2 numbers to begin with? No, it's the show all model. This is how we're doing it.
That's the thing.
What?
The way you grew up doing math is not
Yeah.
what they did. It's like new. It's like the Draymond Green. It's
And
new
then they-
media, new math.
And now they have a new model for multiplication. So instead of like multiplying and putting it down here,
The
and then
multiplication
multiplying
tables,
and
yeah.
then sliding it over 1 and then adding them together at the end. Oh no. Now you break the numbers down. Like 5 times 25 is actually 5 times 20 and 5 times 5. And then you
No, it's
add them
not.
together.
What?
Let me just tell you, trying to and none of the textbooks teach anymore, which make it impossible for parents, teachers. If any of you are listening out there, which I desperately hope you're not, because I hope you're teaching the
Yeah, I
youth
hope you're in school.
and making them a lot smarter. But if you happen to be on an in-service day, or maybe you're off and you have a substitute in today, listen to me. Get some textbooks that actually teach us, the parents who have to teach the kids at home when they're studying for these tests. Because now the textbooks aren't they don't teach you anything. They're just workbooks. So I'm looking at the work that
Oh,
my
geez.
daughter's doing,
Go
trying
off,
to figure
John.
out. I'm sorry.
And all
that
you're
was
learning
my
is off
one
of the
thing.
pencil work.
No, I love it. Go off.
It is excruciating. It's excruciating. And then my daughter says, "Oh, okay. Well,
Dad, why
how
are you
would
getting so
do-"
mad?
Here, and I multiply a couple numbers together. And I say, here, just like this. Can't do it like that. Teacher won't let us do it like that. That's not how we do it now.
So we don't get credit if we don't show our work.
We use
Yeah.
the complex model system.
So hold on.
Why don't you
Now,
teach me that,
I
kids?
apologize to make it adding up some trauma here. So let me just get this straight. 3 plus 3 is 6. In this new model, we can't just say, yeah, there's 3 plus 3 equals 6. We got to break it down into an atom or some
No,
kind of random deal here.
If 3 plus 3, because it's so simple. Yeah, that's 6.
Okay.
But let's say it's 3 plus. Let's take a bigger number.
Okay.
Let's take 124 plus 35.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's
159.
100 plus 50 plus 9. That's what you're doing now.
Jesus.
See, if you bet the over more,
There's no way.
You get better at math.
My kid is screwed. I mean, like I was not good enough at math. I had one of my favorite teachers in the world, Mr. Anderson in stats, ask me if I had a steady ride to school each morning because I was late for his class every single day, first hour. Math, not my strong suit. Kids toast.
That being said, wouldn't it be awesome if somebody was listening to our show right now and they're in class? It's like 3rd grade or 4th grade social studies or whatever.
But here's the deal. I understand as a parent, I have a duty to help teach my kid at home. It's not all on the teachers.
Yes.
Like we can't, anybody that's out there saying like these teachers, they're not teaching my kids. Well, listen, it's also your job when they come home to help teach them too. I can't teach them because I need the lesson plan that the teacher has in order to teach. And they don't have textbooks anymore. They have workbooks. And all it is their gibberish written on a piece of paper. And I'm trying to decipher this. It's like I have to teach myself, which takes twice as long than teaching my daughter. It's impossible.
Well, they should have a special class for the parents. Well, shouldn't they? That like have the parents come through with an online class?
That's what's next. Parents are going to have to learn school in order to help teach the kids at home, which is I already don't have enough time between the basketball practice and everything else. And
that's where Chris in Green Bay said, my wife's a reading specialist. Had to get taught by a math specialist just to help our children. How about Jake in Lake Mills, though, Kuhn, helped you on out here with a Facebook chat that goes to a video. And he said it's going to help you out with new math. Don't worry, it's not going to. It's just a comedy bit as to how stupid it is. But
I thought it was going to a Lisa Ann video. Just by surprise.
That was actually where I was thinking
That's
too.
Exactly what I thought.
I was kind of. So don't look at your phone, okay?
I didn't touch my phone.
Okay, fine. We got it. We got it. I know. All right. Just don't look at your.
Oh man, 414-799.
And you
I
want to
didn't
know why
touch my phone.
And you want to know why we're not good at math? Yeah, because this is what we talk about.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's absolutely it.
And I go to jail.
Man, people are just dialing in on here. Kuhn, my wife is a math specialist and has made videos for parents to watch. I'll get that link and send it right to you. How about this? They're making a side hustle on how you can help educate your kids once you get home.
That would actually make a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
I hear this issue a lot.
Are they selling this? I mean, because I feel like I'm just starting to grasp this thing. Maybe there is a side hustle here, Armin. Can we put it on t-shirts? Can we put the lesson plan on a t-shirt and sell shirts again and get back in the shirt game with lesson plans?
No, I don't think the lesson plan on a shirt would work, but there's definitely an avenue with t-shirts here, and t-shirts can make money, contrary to some popular belief.
We've been doing this long enough, Armin. I think it's been 4 years now. One of these years, we're going to come up with something. We're going to do it. And we're going to make some money.
Oh, that'd be awesome if actually
we won't be able to add it together or multiply it together because we won't know how to do the math by then, but we'll figure it out.
Wouldn't it be great if one of our ideas hit and we just hit the bank? That would be nice, because a lot of times that's just the idea plus the execution, but it's also luck. That's my whole theory on that.
What you kind of just explained was a little bit of gambling.
Yeah, you're right. And that's true. That's a lot of that, but entrepreneurially, but you know what? Gambling is an entrepreneurial business in a lot of ways,
especially when you're as good at it as our guy John Kuhn is with Potawatomi Hotel and Casino Sportsbook.
The man can't miss. Time now for Kuhn's Can't Miss, presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet full.
See, Billy, what you got to realize is he had 8 tabs open. They were
that was my fault.
Lisa Ann as a nurse, Lisa Ann as a stay-at-home mom, Lisa Ann as a yoga instructor, Lisa Ann as a masseuse. He had 8 different tabs open. What did not have that bump open? That
and 8 different stepsons. It's crazy. Makes no sense.
Yeah, it is time for a Potawatomi Casino.
He's got that tab open.
Yep.
Listen, you can't put that on me. All right, you do any search history you want. You can't put that on me.
All right, so you're blaming Ludwig. That's really nice. Kid just got hired, and now you're going to try to get him fired because of what he's searching on Google.
Man.
Wow.
Man.
10 years. That's the example he sets. 10 years at iHeart, and that's what he's doing, John?
That's what I'm doing.
Unbelievable.
Terrible stuff.
He's leading the youth of producers into this world and what they should be looking at when they should just be pressing the bump for the Can't Miss presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook. Make your way down there. Armin did this weekend and ran into how many different Nooners?
Oh my gosh, you guys, our Nooners are down there. They're having a great time. Yeah, it was nice because yesterday, we're not used to having these type of weekends off. That is the one thing about not having football. We missed the Packers, but I had a Sunday off. So I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? Laura was working yesterday. All right, I'll head down there.
Thanks for the invite.
Hey, you want to hang out, you're always invited, man. You know that.
Didn't even know that there was a party.
Yeah,
Didn't even know what we were doing.
And John too, John the engineer. He was like, Armin, why don't you text? Next time I'll let everybody know I'm going.
I told you on Friday that I was going.
Did you really?
At the Admirals game.
On Sunday, though.
No, I said, yeah, we're going on over to Powell.
Friday night. Yeah, you did say that to me. So I should have returned the favor. Fair enough.
It's funny.
Not salty about
I had
it.
a great time, though, because really quick. Sorry, John. I know I jumped on you. But one thing. You mentioned
it's time for Armin's One Thing, brought to you by onething.org. You need one thing and one thing only. Go to and onething.org. And for Armin's One Thing.
Yeah, that the fact that we had like Dave down there, we had all kinds of nooners down in the sports book. I was walking up the second floor. You call it New Pato, but the second floor, I was just taking a peek around to see how busy the electronic roulette was. The crap, a lot of people there yesterday. And another guy recognized me, said, love the show. Our nooners are down there. They're out there. So it's great seeing everybody on Sunday and saying hi to you. And thanks for your listenership. We always appreciate that. Just wanted to mention that.
Very good. That's his One Thing, brought to you by onething.org. And we are going to throw up the bat signal, have ourselves a damn get-together with all the nooners down there. That's coming very soon, maybe sooner than you know. And we'll be down there. We'll be in the temporary sports bar and grill. You know it, the old fire pit. It's a full bar with food and beverage service, plenty of seating for you and all your friends with 30 big screens, 30 different big screens. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. When they open up the new one, we've told you about it to build it off site. When they knock the wall down, Armin's going to be there with a sledgehammer. I'm going to be standing with the really big pair of scissors in the front. And when Armin slams down the wall like the Kool-Aid man, I will just cut the red ribbon and let all the nooners continue to run into the sports book when we do that. That's what we're doing, right?
Wouldn't that be great?
That's what we're doing.
Armin's
breaking the wall down like the Kool-Aid man. Billy's going to be in front of a teller nonstop, and I'm going to cut the ribbon at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect symphony of three different things happening at once.
I would love it. I haven't talked to Luis about it yet, but I don't see what the big deal is. I think we should just say we can do that.
Yeah, you could get some of those walls like they had at the Pro Bowl games yesterday.
Am I allowed to say the big party we're having down there and when it is yet?
I don't know.
To say that yet?
I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't want to be. Put me on. Don't put that.
Why
on
don't
me.
we know when these things are? We know when that is. I think we have a good suspicion of when Carnivore is. We know when Nooner Day. When are we allowed?
And I almost let that one out of the bag a couple weeks ago.
Keeping secrets.
Me too.
I'm not a secret keeper.
But I want
everything out in the open. I want everybody to know everything. I hate having to hide Nooner Day and what we're doing at Nooner Day. I hate the fact that I'm hiding this date for the big Nooner explosion at Potawatomi. I hate that I can't talk about the Carnivore. Like, when can we break this news?
I understand your frustration,
You're
John.
the producer, Armin.
I
What do you
appreciate
do? Did I just call in to tech support? Is that what you just gave me?
Have you tried unplugging it and replugging it back in?
No, this is his next answer. Listen, I'm trying everything. The computers, they're just not working right now. So, yes, you're right about everything you're saying.
Hey, it's not my fault. I don't put that on me. It's not my job. All right.
Our system won't.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, exactly. The system. I wasn't on our system.
I didn't touch my phone.
No, I think we just want to make sure we have the details, nailed down first. I think, isn't that what it is? Don't look at me.
I think they're pretty nailed down. Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to me. I didn't do it. I don't know what to do. All right.
I feel like this is 100% you thing, Armin.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
asking you
It's on me.
No, we know when the dates are. When are we allowed to say them? When are we allowed to say them?
I
We
don't
got
know.
all these reads that you give us, and you tell us exactly when to read them. Exactly on
Okay.
time.
Did you have a read? Did I tell you that? I
No,
didn't get
when
it.
are
Then
the
I didn't
reads
get-
coming? Because I know what the reads say, but they're not. When are they coming? When can I read them?
How am I supposed to know that? I mean,
This
I
is
don't know.
perfect Saban time. I don't know. So quit asking.
So quit asking. I had a different drop up. Anyway, down in Potawatomi, there's a lot of things to bet on at Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Yeah, on Friday we went the way.
You bet lacrosse, by the way.
We went the way of the Ford electric vehicle and took a big fat L in the Busch Lake Clash. Denny Hamlin ended up winning it, like everybody suspected. Toyota got the victory, which means I took an L there. Still, just barely, not quite to the benchmark that we are setting and having a party for. The 30 games over 500. 30 is a special number to me. 30 games over 500. We're going to have a big celebration for. Not quite there, but tonight, this is what I'm doing. Did you guys happen to check out LeBron's message about the jury does not matter in the NBA, all these guys, and they're worried about jewelry and fame and fashion, and that means nothing. You need to focus on the court. I mean, LeBron's in the midst of a winning streak here. The Lakers have heated up a little bit.
True.
Now LeBron's going to give us proclamations on what makes you the greatest basketball player of all time. He's going to tell us, and yet with all of that, the jury doesn't matter. The Charlotte Hornets retweeted it and put out a video of all the Hornets players and all their nice jewelry and fashion. And it just so happens that they're playing this game here tonight, Lakers at Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte's catching 11.5, and I'm starting to think this is going to be a revenge game. This is going to be a chance for the flashy, blinged out Charlotte Hornets to go out there, make a statement against LeBron and his all the jewelry doesn't matter type game. I'm calling this the jewelry game. Charlotte Hornets plus 11.5 at home against the Lakers.
Hornets plus 11.5. All right, John, locked in. And, I could see it. It is pretty interesting that, does it sound like an old guy take? LeBron's the old guy now. Now, I'm sure LeBron had a diamond or two in his day, right? I mean, but it kind of reminds me of the Billy. You remember our favorite thing, the Giannis. It's not about the lobsters.
Not about the lobsters. Not about the private planes.
I'm sorry. Maybe you can call me a homer, but it seems it just rings true to me a little more when it's from a guy like Giannis, genuine. Now, I'm not saying LeBron isn't a great player.
Yeah.
But
because he's always been in trouble in his life.
Nope, never said he's been in trouble. I'm not.
Well, not genuine.
I'm not saying he's
none
not
of his
genuine,
intentions have been, to help people.
It's easy for him to be the kid, the dad in the classroom and say, hey, guys, you should stop caring about flashy things and jewelry. Well, is that how you felt when you were 20, 21, 22?
Yeah, I do tend to remember a SI cover where LeBron was posing next to his big old Hummer. I believe that was the H1 version,
Right.
the first year that they had.
Now, that being
That's
said,
a car. That's not jewelry.
and you sound a little, and I love it, John, because I hear your saltiness in there a little bit about how you feel about it. But I'll say this.
No, I have no saltiness. I
About
actually
LeBron?
love this. No, I love this because this is LeBron. Whether he practiced what he preached or he was 20 years old. And
Sure.
Listen, when I was 20, I was doing dumb stuff. I got 2 piercings in my ear that I would wish were not there anymore.
Really?
Right? I mean,
I didn't know that.
That is awesome.
never got the belly button done or the nose or the lips or any of that stuff.
What
But
about
yeah,
the chest line?
What, nipples?
Yeah.
I have not gotten
That sounds painful. I don't know why people do that. That sounds painful.
I
but I
almost
got-
did one night.
I had, you know what? And,
As a
and,
dare.
and
Yeah.
here's the deal. This is what was stupid about it. So
really bad.
my left ear pierced. I got that when I was super young. My mom was pissed.
Oh,
My
she
dad
could
was
not have
happy.
been
Grammy was going nuts.
My dad was happy because he pissed my mom off, and my mom was pissed. So I had an ear piercing, and I had that until I got to college. And I was like, why every earring comes in a pair? Like if it comes, then I got to say, no, I'm just going to get a second one. So then I told you, me and a bunch of friends thought it'd be cool to pierce our ears.
Yeah.
Push that needle through. You
Little
learn a lot
apple
about
on the other
yourself.
side.
You learn a lot about yourself if you can pierce somebody's ear and not get grossed out. I actually had a lot of fun with it, and I started thinking maybe I should be a doctor if I could
psycho.
pierce. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was oddly refreshing to pierce somebody's ear. Like felt good
Interesting.
to puncture the
No,
skin.
I
with
think
that needle.
I think doctor. I think if you're doing it for fun, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure that all works out there.
But we all did crazy things. Luckily, my
Yes.
craziness stopped with 2 piercings in an ear. That's it. Didn't do the nipples, thank God. Had a
Oh,
lot of
God.
friends that done those. I got a friend who's 45 who had his belly button pierced. And when we have cocktails in the summer, we still have fun
Reminiscing.
putting something back in it. You
Oh.
know? We'll throw an earring in there every now and then after a couple cocktails just to see if the thing still
if that
works. And
hole
we have a
still
good day
works.
with
I
it.
want to see Matt right. He's a friend of mine.
Whoa,
That's different.
whoa.
That's
Holes
totally
and a friend
different.
of hers.
Now-
Okay.
now,
Come on now, Armin.
I do want to say this. I didn't get a chance to. What I was going to say at the end was I had one more thing to say.
One more
that-
thing.
The one
You
thing
already
you can
got
say
your
is
one
like
More-
LeBron
There's no
now.
one more thing.org. It's
Well,
just one thing.
Right. LeBron, I'll give him credit on this. He is now the elder statesman. So a guy like that has seen it all, that has a different perspective on things. To the young guys, saying you young guys might think it's just about making money now as you get. No, you know what? No, it's about your legacy. It's about what you can do in this game to impact the game, win championships, whatever. It's about more than just the things you can buy
And
when
and
you're a young
Armin,
kid.
you
So
thought
I'll
it
give him
was-
credit on that.
But you thought it was jest on my part, but I actually thought it was great because to be able to speak on something, whether he never focused on jewelry or whether there was one time when he thought jewelry was really, really cool. And now he's like, well, in hindsight, now that I'm 38 years old, I think that was cool that he said that. But I also love the fact that the Hornets trolled him with their jewelry video.
Oh, that's funny.
That was fantastic.
It's funny. And that's also a lot of that is just social media departments, right? Doing their thing.
Sure.
But I will now take an extra look at this game tonight with an extra interest with that backdrop to see how it turns out. So.
Also, LeBron could have been looking at the fact that when he came in, the highest contract in the NBA was $136 million in totality. Now there's guys that are playing 24 minutes a night, making $136 million over 4 years.
The game has changed.
There's also a look of fellas. Be a little grateful as to where we're at.
Yeah.
Maybe remember where that cash comes from, because when he walked in, it was a little bit different. As trust me, no one's crying broke for LeBron James. 414-799-1973. So much clutter, so much on the talking text line to still sort on through. But we got to recap our poll question.
I can't believe that poll right now. Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
That is wild to me. Wild. We have to get back to that. Yeah.
It's coming up right after this. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Sit in the car. Let's discuss something. Either we love it or I see you tomorrow.
got something from the Milwaukee Brewers that is quite surprising. And maybe the new way of the future is not always the best way. More on that coming up. But first, we've been asking people all day long at 9 to noon 2 questions. 1, if you don't watch the Super Bowl, are you a football fan? Seems kind of simple, right? Got an early text here in segment number 1 as I was fired up talking as much about the Super Bowl as possible because, John, I'm fired up. I love it. It's Super Bowl week, right? We only get one more of these. We only get one more day on a Sunday to think about what we're going to watch, what we're going to bet on, what we're going to eat during the game. And then you know what it is? It's over. You can act like March Madness is the same. It's not. You can act like Easter is a great celebration. Guess what? There's no football on. Sorry. I love the Masters as much as the next guy. Didn't live up to it. NBA Finals, great. I love the NBA. Not the same. This is the one event we get until Labor Day. So I'm soaking on in. I'm excited for it.
Everybody's wife is super excited that this is the last Sunday that they have to sacrifice time that the husband's just going to do what he's going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to sit in front of the TV by himself with nobody around, he can do that. If he wants to invite friends over, if he wants to go somewhere, I mean, they'll tag along, but this is like that last one, reprieve that all wives everywhere throw out to the husbands. All right, it's the Super Bowl. Enjoy it because you're going to be on lockdown for the next 6 months. I got you. So you got today.
And you know what? It's an American institution. And that's why football fans love it. Non-football fans love it. There's a reason why.
How many people watch the Super Bowl?
I don't even know the ridiculous
80 million,
number.
70 million?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the numbers are. It is somewhere around 80 million. Do you really? And that's worldwide, right? Out of the billions of people that are
gotta be.
That are in the
It's the biggest event.
So now keep this in mind. There's 330 million people in the U.S. The last time I checked, could be a little bit more. 330 million people, 80 million watch. That's a lot of people that don't watch the game. So when you ask the question, are you a football fan? If you don't watch the game, you have to acknowledge there's 250 million people that aren't watching the game in the U.S. And I always wondered, what are you doing if you're not watching the game? What are you doing on Super Bowl Sunday if you're not watching the game?
I know it's a great question.
It starts at 5:00. Are you out running errands at 5:00 on a Sunday? If so, man, you really procrastinated on your weekend.
Yeah. Best time to go to the grocery store. Everyone's saying like, oh yeah, right during the Super Bowl. Probably makes a lot of sense. CNN had the number from last year. It was the most watched U.S. telecast of all time. 115.1 million viewers last year for the Super Bowl.
So at least, and my question too is, how easy is it to get an accurate number? Because people are all gathering in a place. You can't measure the TVs that are on because you obviously know it's more than just households because people go for parties.
Think they can't do the math?
Well, it's new math, John. I don't know if
it's an estimation.
It's an estimation.
Well, they got all our phones on lockdown now. Siri and
they know where you're at.
Listen,
they can hear you.
Siri and Alexa are telling on us, right? There's no doubt that Siri and Alexa are spies, and everybody that's anybody knows exactly what we're doing when we're doing it.
What if you're not on your phone? What if you get a burner?
Everyone.
I didn't touch my phone.
All right.
People really hoping Siri doesn't know who Lisa Ann is. A lot of our listeners saying,
she just wanted to see the comedy show.
I wanted to see Matt Rife.
That's all.
He's a friend of mine.
Just a nice night out at the comedy show.
I'm being serious, Armin.
Yeah,
how many
I don't
times
know.
have you said something like, man, I really like that song. And then within a day, you either get an email
I get it. Yeah.
or you get something on Twitter, pop-up ad.
Yep.
Like all of a sudden, it's like, I talk about a bottle of wine. All of a sudden, a bottle of wine that you've never heard of before, you've never seen in the store, but somebody suggested to you, you have this conversation, and all of a sudden that email comes to you, bam, buy this wine. It's like, I've never seen that before.
I get your point.
There's obviously somebody, and if that's how they know if you're watching Super Bowl. They hear you talk about the Super Bowl. Got them. There's one.
Pin them.
Talking about the Super Bowl.
I still think it's hard to get the most accurate number, but I get your point. Yeah. And it is a remarkable number that like it, but I don't know. I just, when I see like when I see our poll, it's just hard for me to believe that many people believe you can skip the game. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, and let the cat out of the bag just a little bit.
I
if
did.
you don't watch the Super Bowl, are you a football fan? Hell nah. 51.3%. It is about as close to 50-50 as possible.
Shocked.
So 48.7% of our voters here are saying that you can still be a football fan if you don't watch the Super Bowl.
So you can be a fan of your favorite show, but you don't watch the series finale or the season finale. You can be a fan of a movie series, but you don't watch the most important one. I love the Godfather movies. My favorite movie trilogy ever. Oh, I never saw Godfather. I don't watch Godfather 1 though. So then are you really a fan? See, I just can't buy that. How can you, if you love football, why wouldn't you want to watch the most important football game? It's like me saying, I love tennis, but I'd never watch the Wimbledon or something like that. I can't get my arms around that. I love soccer, but I'm not watching the World Cup final. Give me a break.
I just don't. What are you going to do? Like, okay, you want to get your grocery shopping done? Doesn't take 3 hours.
No, it doesn't.
I have a lot of groceries to get, and it would behoove me to be there when there's nobody else there. I'm going to go during the Super Bowl. All right, I'll see you by halftime, right? You'll be back by halftime. I almost said but he can buy groceries too. I didn't.
Yeah, no doubt.
Fair enough. I love going grocery shopping. I know
you do. I know you do, Armin. That's why I said he for you. I know, not for me.
Appreciate it.
I don't like it.
I just got the list from Laura. Tomatoes, cucumbers. See, I get the list, so yeah, I do it.
You on a diet or something?
No, you get the produce first. I didn't go through the whole thing.
Okay.
Oreos, chocolate chips. She makes these
that
desserts.
Sounds good right now.
She makes these desserts for the thing.
Damn.
So, yeah, but I don't know. I guess it's just hard for me to believe that people aren't being a little disingenuous when they answered no. Or like, yes, you can be a football fan without watching it.
I just don't understand. What are you going to do the next day? Everybody's going to talk about at least one thing that they saw with the Super Bowl.
Whether it's commercials, whether it's the game, whether it's the halftime show, it's a part of it. And maybe these are some people that are voting on our poll that are saying, I'll be at the party, but I'm not close enough to the screen, right? Maybe I am sitting as far away from John Kuhn and Mike Eller as possible. Now, many people saying they're trying to sit as far away from Mike Eller as possible. My man's kind of getting dragged on this one. He's also in his feels a little bit because he keeps texting us about it. I imagine there is going to be some robust reaction to this question at 9 to noon on the Mike Heller Show, which fires up here in 23 minutes. But who's counting? If you have your pick, what 97.3 The Game host would you sit beside? Which host are you sitting the furthest away from during the Super Bowl party? Rick on Twitter respond to this one. Besides Josh, because he'll have the chili. People really think Josh just walks around with chili all the time.
All day. I mean, listen, if you're out, this chili thing's working for him.
There's worse things to be known for.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Should we just start calling him Chili Josh then?
Chili Josh.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Little Josh Chili.
3-Bean Josh or something like that.
Yeah, we're going to have to workshop that name. We're going to have to workshop that nickname. Furthest from Billy, because all he'll be doing is focusing on his bets. Well, that is true. I'm going to have 15 tickets in my hand, just telling everybody about how close this parlay is to hitting. Dude, all I need is a Rashee Rice touchdown, 15 more yards from Isaiah Pacheco, 4 more rushing yards from Mahomes, and not 4 more running yards from Brock Purdy. And I'm going to hit with 2,700. Yes. Billy, it's the second quarter.
Well, how about this one? I named it 9-2-0. More like if you don't watch the Super Bowl, are you even American? He took it a step farther. Are you even American?
Wow.
It's a fair question.
That's a good one right there.
It's a fair question. I mean, this is an American institution, the Super Bowl. What else are you doing that day?
It is. If you don't at least catch a little bit of the Super Bowl, is it? I mean, do you think there's more people that don't catch Super Bowl or more people that don't celebrate the 4th of July? It's the same. It's like missing the 4th of July.
Yeah, but that's a day. It's not like in one event you have to watch either, though. 4th of July can be anything you make it.
Well, that's like saying
parade,
on the 4th of July,
barbecue.
I'm just going to sit at home. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit on my couch, not do anything. I'm not
Not
going to eat
wearing
one
red, white, and blue.
cheeseburger. I'm not going to eat one hot dog.
Not going to have one beer.
Not going to see or hear one firework. I'm going to insulate myself in the basement to make sure I never hear or see a firework.
Jules Burner phone said, my wife and I are going to dinner at 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. He also said he has not watched a Super Bowl since Packers and Steelers.
So Jules is a Packer fan, but not a football fan.
But
that
also,
would be his
where
argument.
are you going that's not going to have the game on?
That's a good question, too. I mean, unless there's no TVs on in the area you're in. There are some restaurants, I'm sure. But the bar has the TV on.
Really?
I like the fancy restaurants and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that might be just a little bit too rich for my blood. Could make a lot more sense. Next to KB, away from Steve, said Scott the Builder. KB or Kuhn, I guess he follows on up with. That's an interesting. I didn't know that you and KB would be on the same couch together. I thought if somebody wanted KB, they would want as snarky and as sadistic a humor as possible. Maybe not as enjoying the game, because I don't know that KB's gonna watch much.
Been in a lot of places at the same time. Believe it or not, it's actually interesting fodder. So I think that could work. A little Coon KB sandwich.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
That could be a tennis match that people would want to go and hear the volleys for back and forth. 414-799-1973. We'll put a wrap on this one, tie it on up, as well as give you a little thought, a little nugget, and a little heads up if you're getting ready for your Milwaukee Brewers season. How about this? New age at American Family Field. I'll fill you in right next during our quick trip takeaways of the day. Billy can talk. Coon, Billy, and Armin are right here with you for only a couple of more minutes because apparently my vocal cords don't work on 9 to noon on the Game.
Thank you. Far too kind. Yeah. Ready? Can I get an encore? Do you want more? Cook and roll with the Brooklyn boys. So for one last time, I need y'all to roll.
414-799-1973, the phone number where people have been hammering our conversation here today, which you can find at 9 to noon. You can still vote on our Twitter poll question, which is, if you don't watch the Super Bowl, are you a football fan? Very close to even, 51% to 48%. A knockdown, drag out battle between the two. You can vote on it there, and you can also tell us which 97.3 The Game host you would most like to sit beside. You would like to sit furthest away from at your Super Bowl party. I imagine this is going to do continuous numbers throughout the Mike Heller show because our boy Mike Heller is pulling arrows out of his arm. Like he has been catching a whole lot of strays. He's going to
imagine
do
the
something.
Monday that he's having. What a bad
God.
Monday for him. He wakes up, we steal his idea, which we're going to turn into a bit here.
That's going to be a thing.
Steal Heller's idea. We're going to do that at least once a week. But we steal his idea for this, and then he's the one taking all the shots on the poll. It's unbelievable.
That's brutal.
Yeah, I don't think he deserves it.
For Heller.
Yeah, bad one. I'm going to stick up for Mike here. I don't think he deserves all that shade. I mean, come on, guys. I think you deserve a little bit of apology to Mike Heller.
Who do you not want to sit next to?
That's a good question. Let me start thinking about that.
Okay, yeah, you think about that for the next 4 days, and you can answer it on Friday because I imagine that, John, that's how long it's going to take.
He won't
for him
answer
to,
it.
yeah.
He'll abstain from it. I told you I'm not sitting next to Zabe because I've sat next to Zabe during a Super Bowl, and it was hard. It was hard. The amount of things he was complaining about, and a lot of it wasn't even the production. It was where we were at. I can't hear the announcers good enough. They keep echoing while we're listening to it in an amphitheater. What did you think was going to happen? You set this whole thing up. I can't see.
Out of the
screen's
country.
Too big. The screen's too big.
What does
Now you're
that
complaining that it's too big. Like, oh my gosh, it was rough. And then, in fact, I left him before the end of the game. I said bye.
That was the Rams Bengals Super Bowl, right? Where you guys were at a Sunburn Bowl. I remember I was on the board the next day and he starts asking you questions and you just go, I don't know. I barely could watch the game because I was answering your questions the entire time.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. What how were the Rams able to take advantage? I really don't know. I felt like I was talking to you the entire time about stuff that did not matter.
We were talking about Wednesday's foam party in the middle of the fourth quarter. Not exactly how I was planning on watching it. Travis and DeForest. I'm a huge football fan and a Packers season ticket holder. The problem with the Super Bowl is you get all these people who know nothing about the game of football who ruin your party. Us diehards who invested all fall and winter into the sport. And then we let every schmuck enjoy the biggest game of the year?
Well, we shouldn't.
They should have to eat at least 5 games to qualify. If the Packers are not in it, I really don't care. That's Travis and DeForest.
I get it. I get why that's an annoyance, maybe. You might be annoyed by that, and that's fair. I can feel that. But that doesn't mean you're not watching it, right?
This was the counter poll that we were trying to decide. We were deciding between the two, right? If you don't watch the Super Bowl, can you call yourself a football fan? That's the one question.
That's the biggest question.
Can you call yourself a football fan if you don't watch the Super Bowl? And to our surprise, 50% of 500 votes says, well, yeah, you can still call yourself a football fan if you don't watch the Super Bowl. Surprised to hear it's that high. Surprised to hear it's 50-50. The other one we wanted to know is if you watch the Super Bowl, can you now call yourself a football fan? If the Super Bowl is the only game you watch, can you now call yourself a football fan?
I think so, especially if you go and buy yourself an 87 Swift Chiefs shirt. Because I imagine there are going to be a bunch of those flying on off after this one.
I don't know. I think you call yourself a casual a little bit more. Like
I'm down with casuals, though.
Casual fan?
Well, I guess casual fan is the long-term form of that. So it's a type of fan. Maybe you have a point there. Yeah. Are you a hardcore true football fan? I'm not sure. Yeah.
If I watch the Bachelor finale because I want to know what's his name?
Joey.
Joey ends up with.
Yeah.
Am I a fan of the Bachelor?
The Golden Bachelor.
Golden Bachelor.
Oh, that one's
awesome.
long gone. Apparently.
That's done.
Did they find love?
Yeah, it was.
Let's go.
Teresa, I think.
Yeah.
With Gary, Teresa and Gary, I think.
Heck yeah, Teresa and Gary.
It's actually a lot of fun to watch. So
yeah,
I did.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
No.
sounded like it wasn't all that much fun.
It was nice. It looked like they actually cared about, finding love and not just, getting famous on Instagram.
First
I
of all,
didn't touch my phone.
All right. That's nothing to do with it.
If I'm watching The Bachelor, it's never the last episode.
The
'Cause that
first
thing's
one.
too long,
Yes.
drawn out.
Yeah.
Give me the first one with all of them.
Yeah,
I want
no
to see
doubt.
the mayhem.
Right.
I want to see one get way too drunk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like the fights, I always tell this to Laura, I know we're almost done with the show. Like the show
Been
gets
done,
more,
but it's okay.
it gets more boring as the season goes, the show goes on. The season
No
goes
doubt
on.
about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. You know what doesn't get more boring as the show goes on? 9 to noon. Just keeps getting better. And as the week goes on, we really start cooking with gas.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm telling you, tomorrow, Trey Crosby going to join us at 10. We're going to talk about the weekend that was for the Milwaukee Bucks, 2 days away from the NBA trade deadline. That's going to be a banger. Wednesday, Matt Schneidman's going to stop by. We're going to piss him off so much Wednesday at 10. You're not going to want to miss that. And a special Hall of Fame guest coming up on Thursday. Not going to want to miss it. We just keep getting better, boys. We just keep getting better. John Kuhn, great work. Let's keep it going tomorrow. Armin, fantastic work as always.
I did nothing wrong.
I did have a perfect show. Thank you, Lisa.
Close enough. For Kuhn, Billy, for Kuhn, Armin, I'm Billy. Goodness gracious. I got to end this thing. We're going to try to be better tomorrow on Tuesday. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Listen to Red Alert. Take off the shirt, make sure it don't hit the dirt. I like the kids, the guys, the girls. I want the